Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen a total of 32 teams here for IEM Cologne, all chasing the dream of hoisting the Cologne Major trophy. 23 squads have been eliminated, 7 away in the playoffs. The maths really is quite simple. There's one spot left. Is it going to be G2 or is it going to be NAVI? Let's find out.
It's a 10 start straight out long here for G2, and they're bringing the pace in this pistol. 2 for the 1. A strong trade, and they've got mid-control that NAVI need to worry about. Looking over their shoulder in this pistol round, IEM holds a smoke. G2 throw in the execute like they're gonna go, but they don't. Letting the round breathe. Plenty of control. NAVI do not have the same. They're in the dark. The map goes quiet. NAVI, uncertainty, answers found. IEM and Wonderful push up and find a pick apiece. Hunter might fake this B, but Bomb is still stuck at long. That's a great shot, but his teammate is all that stands here for G2.
Just knowing for his precision, but gotta get past Bit, who waits. And a clean tap seals the deal on the turnaround in this pistol.
Reassuring shots for a Bit, a player who struggled yesterday in that match versus the Falcons. Come the end of Anubis, he really had disappeared. We saw so much frustration from Blade across that game, frustration I've never seen before. Because NAVI from 11-6 could not close that map, could not make it to playoffs, and now have to play again today, but a well-earned pistol. Versus a G2 that need to keep punching up. They also couldn't beat the Falcons in this stage. And this is G2's first opportunity to secure the Lanxess this event. Pistols go up short again. But more group this time. G2, lots of utility. NAVI with a sight setup. Wonderful hiding in Goose.
And this isn't the type of round where G2 are content with just a couple of kills. They've put money in. They're looking for results here. Flashes are good. They'll knock IEM off the angle. Bear Wonderful in mind because he's waiting out here to play on IEM's contact. Trade in this fight. Wonderful helps keep it very, very clean for Heavy God getting sandwiched. They're closing in on all sides. And Makazi going to get rid of him. No bomb plant. No reward on that round for G2.
Yeah, clean against a force fight, which is reassuring to see. Obviously, so impactful. That's why teams go for them even without bomb plants. These second rounds can absolutely flip the script in MR12. We've seen a lot of comebacks this major. We've seen a lot of teams struggling to close from strong halves. So you can never let your finger off the pulse here in this matchup with everything on the line. NAVI know that better than most with that game yesterday. G2 Eco straight down middle. Charging the smoke. Do catch NAVI out of position for a second, but only a second. G2 go back. And NAVI burn more util, but the gun advantage is significant enough. NAVI don't need to worry, even in only a 2-man B hold. Well timed. There's a gap.
And are they just going to take it? Walking out now, Nerds trying to lead the charge. He gets the spot off, flash high. Wonderful, lending a helping hand from out towards long. It's one kill for Sun Pious. But that bomb is out in the open, and he's not going to get any further than this. NAVI 3-0. And so there's the start they were hoping for, but you know Dust2's been problematic for this squad, to say the very least. But on a string of rough losses, event to event.
It's true. 5-loss streak for NAVI, but at the same time, let's contextualize, right? A loss to the Falcons, a loss to the Spirit, 2 losses to Vitality. It seems a little bit better when you put it that way, but I think it's how dominant the losses were that make you worried for NAVI. Only one of those games getting close. The rest, absolute blowout. So NAVI still need to play their best game here on Dust2. G2 come through with the rifles. Sampius AWP, and what Sampius do we have today? Because, my God, this guy is hit or miss. He is either the top or bottom performer, it feels like, for G2 on any given map. And it can't afford to be the latter with the importance of a strong AWP in this matchup. So Wonderful was even beating out m0NESY in head-to-heads, but that still wasn't enough yesterday. m0NESY still found a lot of impact. Can Sampius?
We're going to try and pull off this A split. But with 2 players out here towards long, NAVI, 30 seconds, start to get a little curious, and Alexi with a clear in the long doors.
Baited.
Backing out, going to bait them in to IEM, who holds on too long. Heavy got dead right away, and now the short split coming through, but Alexi in the right place. Flashes from IEM, meant to try and help out, leave him dead in the open.
Ouch.
And with Alexi blind, Mattis going to clean up. G2, they'll get in. NAVI might have had the right idea, might have pulled off a sick little bait and switch to get the round started. But it's the presence of a second man late out the long doors that really threw them through a loop.
G2 say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you can't fool me twice. Double long lurk is the perfect counter as NAVI run away, back turned. 2 kills for Mattis, beautiful flashbang onto Alexi B as well, and that stops any chance of this retake happening here for NAVI. So G2 get on the board, and they do it quick with Sampius finding his first AWP frag. Mattis, a lot of impact. And no waiting around for G2 on their map pick.
Seeing a very cool head for G2 largely across this event. Wonderful might try and push their buttons though, with the AWP coming out now, opening pick onto the captain. And mid-smoke gives a wonderful open season on this AWP. I'll scale past him, sure, but they've paid quite the toll here. 2 players dead just to get this space out towards the catwalk. Will it be worth it for G2?
Open fight there for Sampius, who won't opt to take them. Regrouping on the mid to B, looking for the weaker of the 2 bomb sites, but IEM's here with an HE. He could break any smoke in this CT Sports. Sampius peeks before it, absolutely off the mark. And that's a left side smoke. They do have another to get into this spawn, and IEM's already used his nade. Do they just want to take that fight? Smoke eventually thrown in here for G2. Nerds goes back to upper tunnels, and Sampius will join him. Heavy God is the lurk. G2 might just leave him for later, hoping they can find this entry into the 2-man hold.
All right, that's a great catch for Heavy God. Still 2 to get past though, and Bit not been in a forgiving mood this tournament. Across the major, been a force to be reckoned with, but he's gone right away on that swing. Pius able to punish. It's a G2 breaking through the B hold.
Might need a blade cam after that one. A frustrating 5 versus 3 here for NAVI, where they have all the advantages, all the info, and all the clock in their favor, but G2 pull off a perfect read. Getting Heavy God right out middle, clearing both positions on this B bomb site, and great cover from Pius's AWP puts G2 on back-to-back gun rounds.
I feel like we're not far away from having our first pause for NAVI. That's a 3v5 that gets away from them. And you saw a bunch of these frustrating rounds come in the way of NAVI yesterday. Blade was very, very keen on getting involved whenever he could. Saw a lot of frustration from him.
More than usual. And in retrospect, the sort of shame that he showed at 11-6, dropping that first round, it felt like it was a little early, but he knew what could go wrong, and everything did from that point onwards for NAVI. Nice openers, but they don't matter much come the end of the round. And G2 have broken NAVI's money down, so it's just these 2 saved guns in round number 6.
Boost here for Wonderful. And keen to be involved. The double opener last round, not enough. But here with a hero AWP, knows he's got to force some fights. Gets involved early. Nerds sent out of the round before it even really begins. So again, G2 always having to pay a cost for any map control they go looking for.
Love how involved Wonderful is getting early in this game, right? He's just forcing issues, forcing advantages, looking for kills. Been, oh dear, okay, caught off guard in middle. Good flash here from the top of mid. That might get G2 out. They know this rifle is on B as well, though. Lexi spotted behind the smoke. Hunter can't slip the net. They still are faking out this A play. Will NAVI fall for it?
Cross in mid, Ema's handed away this advantage, and with Heavy God finding a kill out towards the A site, Alexi, no wonder he's up and left B. So much noise made by just one guy on this A play, and it's pulled the whole thing into uncertainty for NAVI.
Pick your site, you've got them both.
They're still gonna follow through with this by the looks. Pius walking that bomb in. There's a backstab for Bit, but doubt he commits, honestly. 2 versus 3. And with Alexi living on borrowed time in towards the spawn, Bit's best course of action might just be to hold on to this AK.
I don't know.
One advantage going his way is he's here very quickly and very quietly. That's a feat that's usually hard to pull off. Pius has eyes on the tunnels and hasn't budged. Determined that this flank is coming through. Now they get the spot. Bit, does he really want to attempt this? He's done big damage. Heavy God still a long ways away. And so Pius gonna have another chance on the AWP, but Bit baits it out of him. Time now working against him though, and Bit heads for the hills.
Honestly, a really nice try for Bit, towing the line between saving and going for it, but there's only so many chances you get. G2 won't give you a way back into that round. Bit has to save. G2 3 in a row off of their first buy round, worth the wait. And now everything to play with here for NAVI. Alexi can drop over that AWP to Wonderful that definitely has come through today. Another opening kill in this round, 2 in the round prior. NAVI need to help him out here on this CT side. It was a great lurk for Heavy God as well, even just the patience to not overcommit and give Alexi a kill back in CT spawn, just waits in A, trusts his team to clear that empty B site before he goes hunting for that rifle. So NAVI timeout, but both coaches get in.
Yeah, Saw didn't do a lot of talking there though. I think he's feeling fine being hands off right now. I think G2 showing that they've put in the prep work already. Some of these setups to deal with the NAVI solutions have been nice, thinking back to that double push out the long doors. Knowledge of when and where you can find these fights out towards middle as well. It's looked very polished thus far from G2, and I think if you saw it, you don't want to get in the way of that.
Oh, it looks like they're really planning on punishing this B-bomb site in this game. No, nothing fast, nothing fancy. Just nice cautious mid to B hits. They attempt something at long. Sampayas looks for that kill, but NAVI don't make mistakes. They don't give away that frag. Smoke and flash comes in, pushes the AWP back. It's back to middle here for G2. Is there another nade here? Wonderful could throw his own. And a chance here and another pick for Wonderful. That is 3 rounds in a row he has opened on this AWP. All right, NAVI can't really afford to lose this one, and so will G2 do what they've done every single time in this position, walk out middle and punish that B site.
Yeah, there is a bit of a gap here, one that IEM might try and fill, but vulnerable to a smoke. They've accidentally missed the CT smoke, and
oh dear.
That's left them in a bit of a weird way.
They've got more.
IEM hiding in this while the B players get ready. IEM gonna try and thread the needle on this timing with a backstab. They turn around and get gun on in time.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Burning, but just makes it through. Whew. And so everyone's super wounded, everyone's super low. NAVI aren't to know this.
Hot under the collar for Heavy God. But G2 might have clocked themselves a 4th round here. Sampayas not going wide. Locking down tunnels, and Wonderful is on the other side of the map. This is a locked-in round. This is another man advantage for NAVI. And I want to reference a desk, because Yanko brought this up just coming into this map, saying NAVI, how much they've struggled at converting 5v4s. They are the 3rd worst team coming into this game at 5v4 conversion rounds. That is not what you expect from a tactical team like NAVI, with the smarts on this squad, but we have seen it round after round of this game. G2 breaking back in 4v5s, in 3v5s. They showcase another here on the T side of Dust2. Wonderful picks a man. They go right out mid to B. They leave laughing. Now just a B-pop. Hunter back and spawns are at a late smoke. They need that entry though. Makazi's not looking back. He doesn't turn in time. Full whiff spray, Heavy God. Brutal triple kill. And a heavy hand on that mouse puts to work around for G2. Brutal. NAVI don't even get shots off in this B-bomb site. Bit a single kill when all is said and done, and G2 just run through it.
The alarm bells should certainly be sounding. This is starting to be a very concise lead for G2, starting to run away on the T side of Dust. And it doesn't matter, opening kills or not. When they get them, it's a bonus. When they get them, it's a super clean round like this one. But even with advantages, NAVI haven't been a threat. 5 in a row for the G2 squad.
Such a big round to pick up, because NAVI found all those kills on the exit at the end, right? Alexi got 2 out of the tunnels, Heavy God died to bomb, and so G2, they can't afford to lose multiple rounds in a row, but that one is just clean as can be. Look at this 3rd shot through CT. Laugh it off here, Sampayas. It doesn't matter you die, because G2 have your back. Stunning start to this map here. Sampayas boosted, and G2 so patient out of the gate. They are, with the exception of that last round, not rushing to anything. Not taking spawns out long. Happy to see if NAVI want to be the initiators in this game, and with the exception of Wonderful, they have not. Trying to trust in their setups, but well, that's the one thing that's let them down, that B-bomb site. Continually abused here by G2.
mollied off, but elects to actually hang around and try and fight this. You weren't expecting the AWP to be there. Sampaio caught by surprise, and Nerds dealt with on his mid-lurk. The bomb lost out towards Cat. There's a whole heap of problems here for G2. Now, Navi have given away some pretty unforgivable rounds on this G2 streak, but this would be the worst defender yet. 5v2, Heavy God and Mattis are clawing it back. They've got 25 seconds if they want to make a miracle happen.
Oh.
Chase onto Alexi, nets you another. And at this point, you've got to scrap. At this point, you've got to fight. That bomb in enemy hands. Oh my God, wonderful, dead as well. And now it's only Ema.
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
They need the
They're
kill.
gunning it with the bomb, but really they need the fight. Ema's gonna take this to time. That is the most nerve-wracking round. And Ema just has to sit there shaking in the corner, but Navi somehow, some way, saved themselves from a 2v5.
You do not celebrate that round win, Navi. You do not cheer. You are not feeling good about that in the slightest. That is a hollow victory. A 2 versus 5 that comes down to the clock falling short for G2. And you know they would have hit that shot if he was on their screen. So Ema lives, but at the cost of his entire squad. And even Blade calls a timeout after that because, my God, you need a slap on the wrist, don't you, Navi? That goes very, very wrong very, very quickly. They throw everything in. Double AWP again. G2, these individuals, when they are feeling it, are so threatening. One of the very few teams to be able to beat Vitality in a BO5. Saw them last year, what they can do when everybody is online. And this is a renewed roster since that point. More firepower, more experience in Nerds. Wonderful again. He has just been so reliable in this CT side.
You're Navi, you really can't waste the performance that Wonderful is giving you, man. He has been unmatched in these opening fights. No one coming close to him yet.
I wonder if G2 just go back to this B site again, right? That round was a departure from their B hits. They got cooked on shorts after winning 4 rounds in the B site in a row. So yeah, again, you lose your advantage, but it's the Wonderful, it's on the AWP, it's on the A site. G2 know the remedy to the situation. Difference is, Bits brought a new gun to the round. Saw this only for a second on that B explode from G2. This time Bit gets to watch over the mid to B, but if the bulk comes from tunnels, he might be in trouble.
Yeah, this is where you really need Makazi to stand and deliver.
Great swap.
Try and get on this line in time, and we'll be able to pluck one from the ranks. They're not able to deal with him in time, so a second shot able to be fired off from this AWP. Makazi with the catch on Nerds, and Sampaio, he can't give this one a go. 2v5 in the last, came down to the clock, but this 1v5 asking too much for the Sampaio AWP.
A well-timed swap of positions on B. Bit was watching mid. I think they realized that G2 weren't doing the 4-man mid to B. They were going for a tunnels pop, so Bit just gets a free shot off on the AWP, and like last time, he connects that first kill. Kazi has his back covered with a just as important double. And G2 saved that Sampaio AWP, but now their money is definitely called into question. Don't be surprised to see G2 force this up. They can get 2 AK-47s, 3 if you remove helmets, but it's a messy buy. It depends on what the call wants to be here for G2, whether they want to fight for a winning half or if they're fine splitting 6-6 apiece. I'd say that's a disservice to G2 with how well they played these last few rounds, so they go all in. Very exciting game to close out stage 3 of the major. And still an even score. Uncertainty of where Dust2 is going to land.
And at think it would be very impressive for NAVI if they can stumble back to their feet, what with some of these rounds that have gone against them, or even come close, can be hard to mentally get back in.
No surprise on this call.
But a chance for that now. Again, it's the B site under the microscope. Mikaze held on to that smoke. Goal of just trading it out with G2.
Oh yeah, it feels like he has to move. That's a really strong position, but now after shooting, he's going to have to go back to bomb site. Good bit of damage, but G2 are coming in.
15 bullets in this AK for Mikaze, got to be considered in these fights. That helps. First shot, one tap. And now the bit AWP matching up well against the G2 squad. This double AWP proven to be the solution.
Okay, more impact off the AWP of Wonderful, but that's not his fault. Finally gets to win rounds with it. Wonderful's been let down, but Bit shows up with a big hold in that B bomb site, hopping around with the sniper. Finally, NAVI find their answer on B. And it's not too late to win this half as G2 are put down on pistols in round number 12. But why would G2 stop now, huh? They're here for a good time, not a long time on this B site.
I mean, it's clearly been the object of their desire throughout this game. It's what the game plan's orientated around, just trying to exploit these B players. But it stopped working, and yet they're still sticking to it. As they look to tie this up, will we finally see why they've been so obsessed with B?
Oh, no.
It does a bunch, a lot of damage. Mikaze on this reposition, buying more than enough time. Teammates out towards the window, Wonderful. When does he want to go? Because, you know, eventually they've got to try and plant this bomb. That's going to take one player's eyes off the server. Nade connects on a heavy god, and now Sampaio boxed in. Gonna have to scrap his way to this round. NAVI are not jumping the gun. This is a one-out half right in front of them. One hell of a turnaround off of the 5-round dominant streak from G2. And as the seconds tick by, the chances for Sampaio really do start to diminish. Molly, at least, feels like it buys him a little bit of room. They don't go in on that bomb plant. Instead, just looking to split this. Sampaio with the first. Ooh. Dancing around, Wonderful will get the better of him. And so NAVI, against all odds, are able to recover on this half. Wonderful's strong start is not in vain.
The fight for the Lanxess continues. For NAVI, one of the most decorated orgs in Counter-Strike. 10 times in the Cologne playoffs over the years versus a G2 looking to continue to punch up and steal that spot. A G2 who haven't made a major playoff since they lost Nico and Monacy. But they took trophies at the end of 2025. They look to level up come the end of this season.
Let's get the energy up. I don't know, it went down when we lost 2 rounds or what?
No, it's fine. Boys, just have eye contact with each other, okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Look, we played 5 rounds without pistol, it's fine, guys.
One round from Nikita, okay, kill me.
Can they get back on their pistols here? G2 dealt a long pop. NAVI come charging, G2 concede. We've got the 4th and 5th best pistol players of the stage on opposing teams in Sampayas and Ima. The former dead. Ima as well, got to fall to the scraps. Mattis handles them. Bomb spotted long. P2K holding on. Nerds has the cover, doubling, tripling his kills in this map. And wonderful 1v3 with nowhere to go.
Oh, with Heavy God here, no worries, just playing cleanup on the dual Berettas.
Let's go! I can see. Nice.
Seen this long flank punish a lot of squads here across the Cologne Major, but you trust Heavy God in those positions. Doesn't go too early, doesn't go too soon. He waits till it's just right.
Split pistols here. And NAVI, as G2 did in that T side, decide to force without the plants.
Nice boys! Let's go!
Heavy God tries to bring that energy back in as G2 look to pull this game back. The lead is right there for the taking. That tells you G2 are fighting tunnels. So NAVI might need a lurk smoke. That or a wonderful pick. No better man for the job, but Nerds is ready for it. And Nerds' recovery is not what NAVI wanted to hear after a 1-kill first half for the latest acquisition.
Alexi and Bit have been doing a lot of talking to each other in the opening of this round, though, and so now trying to come in on this mid to B. That seemed to be their grand idea. Now it's ready to shut it all down. Him and Heavy God combining for all the kills in this round. And he's even trying to go ahead of this smoke. Now 2 players softened up. Really giving him another fight. Nerds just on the spam, keeps it contained.
And 2 multi-kills in a row for Nerds. Could not have come at a better time here for G2, and they're going to be able to convert this pistol, you'd like to think, with just Glocks and Deagles in this 3rd round for NAVI.
I mean, it's very, very promising to see a Nerds recovery at least beginning in this 2nd half. Not been a stranger to rough games out here at the Cologne Major, has Nerds. Occasional flourishes of the heights you know he's capable of, but for the most part, felt a little underwhelming. And so you want to get him switched back online. The multi-kills to give way to this split scoreline are a welcome sign, but you need this to keep up into the rifles. This should just be a shutdown for Hunter. And support nearby, Sampayas moving in to lend a helping hand out from the spawn. The Eagles are going to find him. Don't let this get too weird, G2. Hunter trying to wrangle this bomb plot. Deny it, but not able to do so. That's a bit of extra money for NAVI at the end of this. Still, lead handed over. G2 into pole position.
Big picture for NAVI, it's all okay. They expect this when they lose pistol. They still get out with a bomb plant to allow everything to come through in this 1st gun round. But things have to start soon here for NAVI. You'd usually expect Blade maybe timeout to come into this, but he's already used 2 in that 1st half, so it would feel almost wasteful to drop it now when there will be many more rounds here in this first map. Wonderful's AWP in play. This is where you need Mikaze to get going as well. Warmed up with a couple of solid B holds by the end of the CT side. But he is your opener on this T half. He will have to bail you out.
Throughout this whole round, they've been playing with just one man on this B hold, so maybe a little nervous with this lack of mid info, but still no rotation. Bats might start beginning it soon. Walking across, just been a little too quiet here. Gets spammed back from the catwalk, and that will kind of keep his attention homed in on middle. Eventually ending with him cycling over to the right side of the map.
Did it very loud though, almost feels purposeful. NAVI throwing their util. Nerds tries to block as he trusts his own smoke. Out long, Mattis deals onto Bit. Flashed in on that long door, G2 5v4. It feels all too obvious now where NAVI are going.
Flash might have been good. Sumpire still gets his. Orb to open things up. Hunter next in line to the chopping block. Ema gonna find him. With rotates moving over and a stack here from the start of the round. NAVI are fighting an uphill battle. G2 swanning into the lead quite comfortably now as that first rifle round goes their way.
Oh yeah, NAVI are looking stuck in the mud. They're looking frustrated as well. Come to expect it from this team. Definitely at times have trouble with the mental. Holding themselves to a very high standard. A standard they set.
It also just makes you a little bit nervous as to how NAVI is able to deal with pressure, right? I think out of all their major runs since they went international, this one's evoking a feeling almost similar to Shanghai, where there are some expectations on this team.
Yeah, it came off
right.
An incredible year into that major and absolutely let themselves down.
And right before this one, you know, they win the trophy out in Atlanta, besting Vitality in a head-to-head. Even before that, trophies in at EPL. It was one where, you know, it felt like NAVI were having this big uptick, moving in the right direction, looking to peak in time for the major, and with that comes a certain pressure to perform.
Things change week to week, but people were calling NAVI the second best team in the world coming into this major. I'm sure the results certainly set them up for that statement, but they're getting shut down here in another round. G2 onto double digits, just 1 kill away.
I mean, what's Alexi even supposed to do here? Wants to die. It's going to help level out the money, but Sampius on this line will give him that wish. Orp arrives on a perfect timing for G2. Double digits now. And they almost can't believe how easy this has been since getting into the second half.
Yeah, nothing too explosive for Sampius, but steady is he on the AWP. And there is Blade's final timeout.
It's one thing you'll notice, right? Usually he kind of gives them the benefit of the doubt for that first gun round, but if he doesn't like what he sees, he will get involved.
A split crowd. Two teams, two orgs with massive fan bases. G2 on their map pick are causing a ruckus. This is where you expect NAVI to step up.
Kazi gets let off the leash. Looking for short control, and Hunter awaits him. G2 have tried to have this kind of constant trade of pressure. Oh, you throw the CT smoke, we'll block you in mid and play around it, but they didn't have access to that in this round. B players playing within the bomb site, so it's a little bit more restricted. I don't think Nerds likes this, all the uncertainty that this one smoke causes, so gonna move in to clear it manual mode. And he gets the spot that this was nothing more than a ruse. That's a nice reaction for G2. Lowers the nerves of these B players, tells the A guys to prepare for a fight. And so a reblock from Hunter at 40 seconds. That is a bit of a problem for NAVI. They might just have to go right through it.
Yeah, they have their wall down. They have every reason to, charging into this bomb site. It's a bit late lurk, 30 seconds for NAVI to find this entry, but it falls in Hunter's favor. He is buying a lot of time on this site, time that NAVI can't afford. They're getting cut down one by one, 2v5. And while we've seen G2 make this look possible, NAVI are not in a position to do so. Bomb is loose, deep in the bomb site, and G2 are playing with their food. They'll tuck in. Wonderful 1v4 and nothing being given up. This is a G2 who might punish at the end of the clock. Wonderful just has to try and hold on.
Knew that Mattis wasn't shying away from this fight, but
no.
death after time. That is a disaster for NAVI.
I mean, they had nothing but loss bonus, but now he only has 200 bucks. You can't even buy a pistol. Disaster strikes for NAVI. These cat executes have looked very weak, very predictable. They found no entries on this T side when they need them. Every single opening kill coming from G2 since the guns have come out.
That's where, you know, the whole foundation of this NAVI Dust2's felt so shaky, because even with the advantages in that first half, you saw it with your own eyes. It wasn't enough for them to win rounds. And so here, when you're not even getting the entries, you know, what's supposed to happen?
Kasi hasn't had a kill since Rifles have come out. Wonderful's not exactly in positions to do anything with this AWP, supporting the pack, throwing in this util, the one guy who was showing up on CT side before we eventually had NAVI hold B. And they won the half, man. 7-5.
And now to think 7 might be all they get.
G2 want to make it so.
That's coming in with a bit of aggression. Can be a tricky fight, that one. Jiggled by Ema on the Tech 9. Gun gifted over. This risk from Nerds on the top mid push. Has it just handed NAVI a way in? Missed shot now for some Pius. And these misses are going to start to cost you. The A site is shrinking. NAVI move in, looking for a breakthrough with pistols. Bomb lobbed across. Never open to that Sun Pius AWP. You're G2 though, you're telling yourselves any round is winnable from any position. This one though might be asking too much.
That is a disaster for G2, but there's NAVI stealing around right at the end of this map, it feels like. A push Nerds will regret all the way up top middle on his own with not an ounce of support. And NAVI pop that head off. They find their first entry in some time, and they don't waste that opportunity. G2 offer NAVI a way back into this game. They will take it.
It's like the ultimate round. You're going to be kicking yourselves over if you're G2. You feel like now, in hindsight, made an unnecessary move, an unforced error, and you've handed a team a way back in who felt completely lost on this map.
Yeah, I mean, this is a similar scoreline to the comeback that Falcon showed against NAVI yesterday on Anubis. It was 11-6. Felt like a lock-in. So very quickly, can that compound and get out of control here for G2? Can they put it to rest? For long.
Everyone loosens up a little bit with the tension broken, winning on the pistols. And so far quicker out towards short this time. way sooner in the round than G2 have been used to. Worried about a mid-control round here. But it doesn't feel like Bit's entirely given up on these long doors. So wonderful, try and go for the pick there to start this round. And as that smoke fades, they'll group over towards long, looking for this A split. This triple B might be very poorly timed for the G2 squad, pulling their resources onto the other side of the map. Wonderful still very much at the back of the pack with this bomb. Actually alone right now out in middle. Won't get caught by the cross. NAVI do want to go with this. They've got to take advantage of these positions soon. And it might just start happening now on the back of that Makazi entry. Handing him a 5v4. They set their sights on this A play. Sampaius does what he can. The rest is in Hunter's hands. The captain of G2 overwhelmed. NAVI back-to-back rounds. And a game that is closing up.
Team Ace gets them there. Everybody does their job. Lurk shut down in middle. Perfect util to stop a potential clutch with low time on Hunter in the site. And even that nade on the long smoke catches Nerds repositioning. Everything that can go wrong does for G2. And can you believe that that is their first timeout this late in the game? They've been happy with how this one's gone so far. Finally, that gets drawn into question as G2 put all in this integral round. A game that felt it could have been finished off of that half buy for NAVI. That would have granted G2 12 rounds, but Nerds had other ideas, gave them a gun, gave them a way back in.
And I think, you know, the thing you really hope that doesn't happen now for G2 is Nerds was on a recovery. He got one kill in that first half, but he's given away the swing round that has led NAVI back into the game. And so you kind of don't want him to get in his head again. It was his recovery that held so much promise.
We are fully in control of the game. Just breathe and you are fine.
Yes,
everything is okay. No stress,
Matusz, give him molly.
G2 trying to stay calm. Can't hide from the fact that these back-to-back rounds have put more pep in the step of NAVI. They are going for a spawn call. Pressure on this B site. 2 players lurking mid to B. G2 shuffle over just in time.
And he got with the catch on the first. Hunter arriving on a perfect timing. And so the B play gets shut down. 2 players out here towards middle. They've only got Wonderful back in the tunnels with that AWP to actually draw fire, draw attention. Bit with an important catch. Nerds there to instantly trade. And as Wonderful tries to come in, this flash is good. Oh, there's the follow-up. Wonderful's been given a bomb plant. Doesn't know it yet, but he's got great timing for that fight. Sampaius dead. And now a 1v1. The fate of NAVI on this map in the hands of Wonderful. And he's up for the task. Idols turned rivals for this guy. NAVI onto double digits. It's a 1-round game.
Despicable 1v4 clutch out of Wonderful with 2 health to do it. A Tech 9 tap headshot and Sampaius jumping through the smoke. Do you not know what you're up against? A Wonderful who has to make a play. And boy does he, the play that might send NAVI into the playoffs. From the brink of defeat and NAVI now favored here in this first map. That was going so very wrong. What a time for Wonderful to stand tall. Player who's been waiting for his flowers. Finally found his first MVP coming into this tournament, and he has got a point to prove at this major. He has got unfinished business in the Lanxess.
Saw that Woxen clutch, made him feel inspired maybe. Had 2 phenomenal clutch rounds out towards this B side from Orpers now. at the tail end of the Cologne Major Stage 3. But this one has massive ramifications.
Oh, look at the gap. Kazi has been very quiet in this T side, has had 1 kill since Rifles came out, but he still finds his space in the anti-eco, looking to assure NAVI that nothing will go wrong in dealing with these pistols. And at this point, that's assured. G2 just stumbling into crosshairs.
And just what kind of, whiplash are G2 feeling? They went from being in full control, feeling like every round was winnable. Now they've got nothing solid to hold on to. Feels like they can lose from any position. It's a complete tonal switch from the squad that were playing earlier. And you've certainly seen some of these nerves setting in. You even heard it somewhat in the halftime. Kind of getting their wires crossed with where their heads are at. Some folks feeling the pressure, feeling like the energy was drained, others saying it's fine. And now all that uncertainty looks to swallow you up. This 4-round streak for NAVI, a tie game at 11-all, and one final buy round for G2. If they don't do it here, Dust2 goes against them. They lose their pick in the series. And at that point, everything hangs in the balance. NAVI will be going on a comfortable ground, feeling like they recovered a map. They almost felt destined to lose with some of these rounds in that first half.
Just very impressive resilience. They did this with no timeouts. Blake called it 4 rounds ago. 4-round streak. NAVI stay in this game, ready to write them off. You can feel the difference in NAVI looking a lot more comfortable on this T side, taking a lot of space early in this round. No threat from lower, no threat from short. G2 wouldn't possibly dare. So NAVI get to call the shots. This last mid to B was a bit messy. It comes down to a clutch. But NAVI were 2 players sat in their own mid-door smoke, were refusing to play. That's how G2 were able to get such an advantage in shutting down that tunnels push. NAVI need to be very careful on the timing of this hit. Alexi has just been reblocked in middle. It might just come down to a 4v1 on this B bomb site. G2 hedging their bets on A. They've read it wrong.
At this point, it's heavy god or it's nothing. Guy needs to deal with all of NAVI single-handedly. Looking up for the job right now. Makazi just hands over that second. And Heavy God's done his part. Now it's on Inerts to try and play, try and follow through. The rest of G2 still hesitant in these rotates. Can Inerts do anything? The moment he swings this window, Wonderful was eyes on. You're a man up. You don't want to write this round off, but if you go for it and you come up short, you're broke.
You almost feel destined to go for this, and that could be the undoing of G2. How hard is this B bomb site? We're about to find out. This will cost them everything.
All 4 players arriving from the mid side. They've got 1 flash on Mattis to try and begin this retake.
Call it off.
Before it even begins,
Run away.
Hunter is gone. And the save called. They lose their captain. They lose their edge. G2 run away.
It hurts, it really hurts, but it is absolutely the right call here for G2. They cannot afford to lose these guns. NAVI go hunting, they won't find anything. G2 keep 3 rifles, they keep themselves on this map, but make no mistake, this is NAVI on a streak. 5 straight T rounds. G2 dragging their heels as they have to leave that B bomb site. Heavy God does so much and it is not enough. You could not have asked for more on that hold.
And you can just see how, it's reinvigorated this whole team as the game's gone on. The cooling's gotten better. They've so often been in the right place. They've dodged these stacks. They've had the right reads. Communications flowing. Smiles all around. G2, it's nothing but stress. NAVI, 1 by 1, have worked to inspire each other and got themselves switched back online just in time. You think about how animated Blade was yesterday in that Falcons match, the look of disappointment on his face. Well, now it's determination, maybe a bit of pride that the guys have been able to build back from such a one-sided game. Job's not done yet, but Wonderful's helped them out. In this final round of regulation, Heavy God's got to do it at low health.
That hurts. Out long, quick for NAVI, confident! But look at the change. Nerds just spam 2 through the smoke. Is he going to commit and die for this position? Nade on the smoke. Nerds looks to line them up. And what an admirable effort. It's put them in the 2v2. It's given G2 a fighting chance. Despite the double entry for NAVI, they're still here.
It's the 2 top performers for G2. They've got to try and claw this one back against the might of Wonderful's AWP. Nakazi here, gonna try and sneak across with that smoke down. Some Pius knows you don't get many shots, you don't get many chances. Burns himself down low. Wonderful just took his eyes off. Long backstab comes in on the perfect timing. And now Makazi, not exactly been his strongest game here. 11 and 20, a struggling match for Navi's explosive piece. But still a world where he can end this with a bang. Knows where both players are. Feeling very claustrophobic. Know that one pixel straying too far can give this away. Makazi's got to be so careful and considered in these fights. Sampaius gives up the aim of the game. Don't tell me Makazi is about to clutch up big and take this for NAVI!
A year on from his debut event, we knew he was the real deal. Back in Cologne, he showed up in the playoffs last year. He looks to get NAVI there again today. Makazi moment, 1v2 clutch, and NAVI steal G2's map pick away. He showed he can hang on the big stage. So let's see if NAVI can get there. Second map of this series, their pick, Inferno, and an opportunity to go to another major playoff. Cologne, are you ready for the second map? Let's get it on. Nades up for G2, NAVI all the same. And 4-man A stack. G2 trusting Nerds to hold down this B site.
All right, that's one hell of a way to get things going. Dink down range on a Heavy God. You'll take that if you're NAVI as you just try and ease into this T side. They know the G2 have been outside doing some reflecting at the end of that devastating loss. So got to prepare themselves for a G2 that are looking to bounce back. Eyes set on an A play and a stack here for the G2 squad. Smokes come in, so do NAVI. Util to get this one going. Molly's to try and clear out the pit. Mattis up close. He's in the pit side alongside his captain. And a lot of eyeballs over here on short. NAVI try and change their mind. They've shown a lot of face out here towards this A play. And so expecting a reaction from G2, but Nerds hasn't bitten down upon it. And NAVI look like they might reset. There's still more twists and turns in this one, but with 20 seconds, NAVI have got to go.
Yeah, even that slowdown means the Nerds can't assist on this long side, and he would have been valuable there. Mattis has fallen. Hunter hiding out inside of the site. Needs to hit headshots, needs them quick. Wonderful with the trade, just enough time to put that bomb down. And Nerds is late to this party.
Man looking for redemption after a giveaway round back on Dust2. Let NAVI into it. Is Nerds up for the task of this clutch, or is he feeling flustered? 2 players in front of him and they face him right away. NAVI, start as you mean to go on. Well, they'll pick it up where they left off. Another victory to kickstart this second map.
A decisive move there in that 2v1. They just chase him down. Absolutely fearless game out of NAVI on the cards here on Inferno after picking up an impressive comeback on Dust2. looking to charge into the playoffs. Split pistols last map. NAVI take the first here. G2 go for the force on the CT side. Questions as to this banana hold. We've seen some highlights from Nerds in this position at this major so far. Got to be required in this first half. Enough time for NAVI to keep you guessing. Even with these smokes, it doesn't tell you a lot. Sampires tries to commit ahead of them, confirming position clear. NAVI are grouping for this B site. G2 actually decide not to rotate. That's a big kill as well. It's going to free things up. Hunter's moved away with that smoke. He's uncertain. There's a gap. And so NAVI just walk right in.
That's with the first, but now more needed from these pistols. Oh, struggling to contain the spillover. They'll manage it. Bit can't clutch. Hunter's got him. And so an early bounce back from G2.
That was scary for a second. Hunter rotating, Sampires calling long open, but luckily gets back in time to drop that smoke, and that just gray screens NAVI coming through against 5-7s that we know are brutal. Very hard to get through these upgraded pistols. G2 winning the force buy. And now Bits hero Galil. That's all NAVI have to work with.
And look at the gap he's found. Bit one to trust his read of the game. NAVI trusting it too, carrying them through to a double set of entries. That's all the space you needed. Bits provided more than enough.
You are not ready for that. You're on Moto, you're getting peaked at short at the start of the round.
And that's a save call for G2. They're writing this one off. Resmoke Moto only sells it even further. They're out of there.
I don't even know how you justify that to yourself. Bit just walks out mid, he finds the gap. Is that prep? Is that you finding space and just walking with it? Who knows? It is perfect for Bit. Just walks straight into the empty position as G2 gamble B. And the read of dreams here for NAVI has put them right back on the board.
I mean, if Dust2 ended up coming all, becoming all about wonderful, time for Bit to remind us what he's made of, because he's been the other guy hitting tremendously hard at this major.
Yeah, that's why yesterday felt like such an anomaly. Why it couldn't have come at a worse time. But all can be forgiven today. Saw didn't use the timeout till about 20 rounds into the game, back on Dust. G2 force up. They did save 3 rifles. It's not a bad buy.
All good, guys. Just focus, please, okay? Stop fucking being perfect with smokes, with HEs, with flash. It's not you, Nikita. It's not your mistake. All good, okay? Just don't tilt Nikita because of it, okay? We are talking so much bullshit without reason.
Stress getting to G2. Understandably.
Been kind of one of the reigning mantras that we've heard in these G2 timeouts. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just have to be on the same page. certainly feeling a little disconnected when you lose a round like they just did. And so again, NAVI going to try and play with this A space. At least that's how it looks from the offset. They keep Makazi over towards Banana, so they still have the option to bring this one back if they want. Smokes fall in the way of Sunpius, and now Hunter, a decision to make. Does he want to try and brave a mid-fight? Goes looking for a scrap.
Unlucky.
Gives away the opening. Sunpius thinking maybe he wanted to come through there, decides against it. They are waiting in this long smoke. They've heard him on that jump, and so not getting out of this one alive.
Not sure what he was hoping for there.
And how you're in a really potent position. You know, at most, it should just be one guy in the site. That's about to get confirmed with this spot over at long. Still, Nerds good for a double. They need to clear Heavy God. Got to keep their wits about them, because that SMG up close is a problem. Heavy God farms. And G2 going tit for tat with NAVI to start Inferno.
My goodness, that's a 5v3 straight up for NAVI. Double entry, they concede long, they regroup on the short hit, but no moto smoke. It actually fades by the time they get out short. It's a perfect line for Nerds. Look at that bloom, just disappear. An easy lineup, baits them into Heavy God. NAVI just get turned to mulch. Shockingly easy for G2 when you consider the man disadvantage. NAVI caught looking a little silly there. Left with just AKs. Is Big going to try and look for a gap again? Ahead of the smoke. Ahead of the smoke. Sunpius doesn't know. He's not peeking wide enough.
Can't have Bit find this gap twice over. No. Again, an entry from Bit as he leads the pack. Rest of NAVI were going to follow through behind him. They've changed their mind, putting pressure on long. Now falling back for the short commit. Heavy God nearly swings out there blind, ends up recovering. But you're going to need more from Heavy God before this round is over. Good for a double. Hunter getting himself stolen away, tucked into this corner, hard to flush out of position now for Wonderful. And this isn't an AWP and a post plant anymore. This is a rifle seeking 3 entries. G2 here have the site reinforced, looking to win out in these forced by wars. And Wonderful's hoping so much that they're the ones to make an error, but they count down, they swing them together. That's G2 on the same page to shut out that clutch.
Oh, these rotates are so quick, and that's why these B players just keep punishing on Moto. NAVI are getting entries into A. They're trading out well, but then G2 just have an open sight line, and they are knocking NAVI out as they go for this A hit. I won't even call it an execute. It is lacking the smoke. And G2 are bringing it. Winning out despite a lost pistol, finally putting NAVI on eco. That save a couple rounds ago, well worth it. As by the end of it all, G2 will sit with a 2-round lead. It's a bit of a kick in the teeth for NAVI. And one thing that seems really reassuring here for G2 is how good Heavy God is today. He showed up on Dust2. He was doing all he could. Okay. It's just pistols, right? What could go wrong? Heavy God falls, but no one else will. G2 know they're in the pit.
Nades have just whittled Bits round away. He's still been able to provide something, but at 11 HP, armed with only this Deagle, there's a limit even to Bit and what he's capable of. So here's your kind of delayed gratification of these conversions if you're G2. Blade immediately gonna hop on in. Feel like surely he's noticed in these first few rounds just how fast and loose G2 are playing with the rotates.
And maybe NAVI the same, because you know, they're getting into good positions. They're getting out of mid-space for free, and they keep finding picks in A, and so you kind of understand why NAVI are committing to these executes. But now, you know, in back-to-back rounds, they've done exactly that, and G2 have shut them down from disadvantage. So maybe the call is to cool off, you know, play the round out, use the clock more. Haven't seen any presence on this B site yet for NAVI. No banana control taken in this game. And so there are a lot of options that NAVI haven't utilized in this T side. And maybe breathing a bit more is one of them.
I mean, it's sort of one of the go-tos for NAVI, isn't it, right? Take the pace out of this a little. If you get those openers, just let the, 5v4, 5v3, whatever it may be, speak for itself.
I mean, it's something we saw back on last map, right? These man advantages lost. Lots of early picks for Wonderful and CT Dust2. Not a lot of rounds from those moments.
Well, G2 are expecting a change off of that timeout, and they've kind of correctly preempted this banana take for NAVI. You said we haven't seen any of this control yet. NAVI try and throw it in and then return to the rifles and get bullied by the util.
G2 on the same page, swinging together, great util. They lock NAVI out of this position. It's a reassuring sign, despite this not being a B round. The G2 have the protocols in place. They have that banana control back. And so minute on the clock for NAVI, and they don't have anything to show for this. Some low health, barely getting util out of G2. Are they going to walk right back up banana late in the round silently, hoping G2 have perhaps over-rotated, but Nerds still has support in the form of Mattis. Chasing.
The reload, they hear them falling back from that aggression, but now blocked in at top banana. Feeling like you really have to go through it. They will get an entry. Nerds getting burnt out, but it's falling a little shallow. That's given Nerds this perch to sit on. Keen double. And G2 is still in this round. Hunter first to arrive on the scene, and he lines him up. Bit sitting at the top of the board, 8 and 4, but the fate of this smoke hangs him out to dry, sandwiched by G2. No miraculous clutch. G2 racking up rounds.
All right, Captain Hunter delivering the goods here for G2. That's a 3K on rotation, a shutout on that bomb plant. Even with smokes down, NAVI not trusting it. Going for the safe plant. Anything but with coffins open. And it feels like G2 have a third player in every position. Fourth player in A, third player in B. That is a rotate back for Hunter. It is so well timed.
Yeah, he's putting himself in positions to succeed. It's reflected in the scoreboard, sitting right up at the top by quite some margin. This is Hunter trying to lead by example.
Trusting his read of the game and having a great one in this map. Knowing where NAVI are at all times. This is always a scary setup if you miss the shot, but they don't. Could have trapped Heavy God in. Instead, both players get to leave with a kill apiece.
I mean, just think about how much of a nuisance it's been, even in these rounds where it's just pistols lurking out towards the apartments. Had that one round here with the Deagle where he was able to get the harass off. So just go and get rid of him. Don't let him long the round out. Don't let him find these timings. They deal with him early. And that feels like it gives you so much freedom. Now sat pretty in a 5-on-3. And the one guy that's had you looking over your shoulder is dead.
Or where that came from. Sampires connects onto Makazi. 5v2, just got to walk it over the line. Now Hunter is here to support. 13 and 2 on Hunter right now. Absolute heroic step up here from the captain of G2, the Cologne winner in Hunter. The surviving piece of that roster from back in 2023. And playing with pieces of the very team he beat in that grand final in Sampires and Nerds. Even though major playoffs may be a different conversation for this G2 team, stage experience is not. We've seen a lot of these guys pop off in arenas over these last few years. But as many have learned this week, getting there is the hardest part.
Hunter just has a very calm demeanor in and out of the server, and that translates very nicely to these high pressure moments. And you got to find it inspiring, I think, if you're the rest of the G2 players, right? You hit tab, you see where your captain sits on the scoreboard. You kind of tell yourself, look, if he's willing to do all this, Surely we can offer something up. Nuts with a shutdown at Banana. NAVI and their attempt to take this space quickly was locked out. Attempted trade back for Bit, but some pious orb able to rid him from this round. Leaves an unlikely 2v4 attempt on the cards for Wonderful and IEM. They're split up here in their approach. IEM going alone out in a top middle, and this is Hunter's domain. Right round that corner, ready for it. Hunter with the killing blow. That's the bomb dropped out on long.
G2 just setting traps all over the map right now. That double lap setup in a couple of rounds. This one, they burn NAVI back into the swing in B. I don't think NAVI wanted to jump the gun on that B hit, but they get forced to by that molly. Alexi says, swing with me. 2 players dead at the car. Wonderful in another clutch. Is he really going to be up for the job? Orb on this shot will connect. And so Sunpius does not let this one get out of control. G2 making up for their mistakes of Dust. This is 6 rounds in a row, building out of control for G2. And NAVI have not had many rounds up B. But that's one they'll remember. We've seen very strong utility from G2 in the CT side.
I think it's one of the brutal things about this map, you know, when you feel like you're running into the wall, when Banana is just closed at the hands of convincing util, convincing gunfights out of the B players. It kind of puts you in a real box, doesn't it, right? If you can't take Banana, you don't get to go play for this B site. That's why we've seen just a rung of these A hits constantly for NAVI. It's the only space they're getting. It's the only space they're being given. And even then, they've struggled at converting even with the openers. So again, it's back to this A play. And Alexi classic, an abs pop for NAVI.
Oh, we're digging deep. We're getting desperate now because G2, with only one flash in their face, have no problem locking this down. Missed shot won't cost you as the rifles come in. But wait, it does! Double entry from Alexi. Suddenly, NAVI are in the conversation. They can get that bomb in.
Akasi on the orb. Shot, and Mattis with that pickup. Now they start closing in. Alexi thought he'd done enough with the double, but more is demanded of Navi's captain. Both players there. Hears them. Lines up the first. Gets to long this one out a little. No! Alexi! Ludicrous round from the captain. And maybe on the back of it, NAVI can make something of this T side yet.
Oh, it just felt perfect there for G2. That's a 2v5 with the trades from Alexi. Heavy got Sunpius and Hunter all get a kill apiece. One missed orb shot, and then the whole thing comes unraveled. Alexi keeps it cool, doesn't get too tricky, trusts his aim in that 1v2. And G2, okay. Is it a round that will cost you? Only time will tell. You have a significant advantage still. And as we've already said, this B site has been on lock. NAVI have not put a bomb down there yet. This round is everything. Lose it, and you're destined to get stomped out of your T side. Win it, and we have a game of Counter-Strike.
Oh, smoke, Hunter. Looking like he wants to come through this. Flash is deployed, no one fires off, and so maybe the attempt at an info flash there doesn't commit to that engagement, just holds the other side of the smoke. Alexi's gonna try and brave this. Hunter has gone on, waiting for this exact move, but a backstab for Alexi. Hunter needed that trade, couldn't secure it. Again, entry kills from Alexi B. Now they leave it off to IEM in this clutch. Can he make it look as easy as Alexi did in that last round? A string of clutches to try and pull NAVI back into the conversation. Now it's facing first from the long side. Util out, IEM doesn't pounce yet. Knows he's about to get delivered a fight, and he's clinical with it. And now IEM buys himself a few more seconds, dancing around these sight boxes. Minus under the pressure, IEM doesn't crumble. And that is now back-to-back clutches in these post plants for NAVI.
It is clutches that have defined this series for NAVI, be it Wonderful in the 1v4 on Dust2, be it Mikazi closing that map with a 1v2, Alexi the same. Now IEM enters, everybody's getting in these late round situations, and NAVI are staying alive. Fourth round will not break G2's money. So nothing will come easy for NAVI. But G2 would love to just get back on the board. Not feel like they've once again let their opponent back into a match.
Haven't had to contend with this deep banana aggression yet. Mikazi still good for the clear entry. This final round of the half, it's a 5v4.
Well, we finally get a proper B execute here because G2 don't have the resources to refight Banana. Even this rotation just has one flash on Hunter, so if NAVI throw everything in, G2 can't stop them. NAVI get the choice to explode. Ooh.
Smoke.
Oh,
that cost you. Alexi and Mikazi both get farmed, and that bomb is out of there, hoping to link back up with an A play that Bit has to provide. Blocked off in the apartments, that's forced a redirection, and G2 are closing in real quick on this backstab. This door about to close. Wonder even if they saw a glimpse of Bit there crossing in top middle. G2 playing it forward. No, they have NAVI in a box right now. Some pious AWP on this line. Hunter with the backstab, one missed shot, but not looking to cost them this time. Some pious makes up for it, and G2 stop the string of clutches on Inferno.
There's 7 seconds of got the bomb. They're trying to build pyramids, but there's no more play. Stewie's won the round. We go to overtime.
Surviving here with clutches on NAVI for the most prolific system team in Counter-Strike. It was begging a bit of a question. How would they fare with the heart-racing, adrenaline-pumping style of getting by on individual brilliance? And the answer, well, it was a T-side that felt a little jittery, a little jumpy. Giving away that final round of the half sees G2 with an 8-4 lead.
I don't know what to say. What are these rounds that they're winning, bro?
It is crazy.
But it's fine, boys. There might be a couple of more, but don't fucking crack. Don't let them get to you. It's all fine.
I cannot believe actually what is happening.
G2 is shocked the rounds are coming so quick and so easy because it's NAVI, giddy, and jumping into their crosshairs. From disadvantage after disadvantage, G2 stave off NAVI. But NAVI now look for both pistols in this map. Entry for Alexi, G2 surrounding the A site. 2 smokes to make this work.
Wonderful didn't have much of a part to play in that first half, but will have a responsibility here if they're able to bring the AWP out. That kind of hinges on winning this pistol. Bit trying to set them up for it. These dual Berettas. Strike 2 from the tally. Heavy got with the reply. Hunter looking for space out long, bites off more than he can chew. That leaves it on Heavy God, and NAVI come in quick with a pistol victory to begin this second half.
All right, something, but again, we can't afford to get ahead of ourselves. They won the first pistol, and look how that ended up. It was a back and forth affair till G2 finally broke them. So NAVI need to keep a cool head on their shoulders in this CT side. As we heard G2 in that halftime feeling very happy about the opportunity they've been given to close this game out. Couple of slower, quieter players here in this map for NAVI, and it is wonderful off the back of an incredible Dust2 on 2 frags now, and Makazi not far ahead. They will be called upon come this CT side. G2 ready to charge it in.
This one's meant to be a gimme. Chance for Alexi to make a bit of cash out towards the spawn. They do lose Ema. The hole quickly plugged. Bit been itching for a fight. And so now the guns make another appearance for G2. We've not seen a whole lot over towards Banana. It was an area of the map largely neglected by NAVI in that first half. And G2 going to keep this an A-focused game, or do they try and cast a bit of a wider net in their first rifle round?
Got to keep them honest in Banana. Both teams hesitate to throw much in. Second molly for G2, just to make sure NAVI aren't ready to swing, but they are. Ready for the retake nades. High HE, Makazi swings as NAVI look to stop G2 at the door. No one panics off the flash. G2 don't know numbers, they can only guess. That was a lot of resources. As NAVI slink back into an A setup. Minute on the clock for G2 to make up their mind.
Most neglected bomb site all game, finally going to get some action. Oof. There's the entry, that brings you in. Makazi dealt with straight away. And this is an instant save call for NAVI. 2 clean entries, all it takes to end a round on Inferno. Might not believe that after the first half we had. For this more standard round, G2 just reaping the reward of a smoke spam out of some Pius.
Just heard NAVI use so much util in retaking top car very early in the round, and G2 were nowhere near. They weren't under threat. They didn't lose any health to that utility, so they're just fine to wait it out and then recommit to a B execute, something we never really saw happen for NAVI. Just one attempt to the end of that first half, shut down by a single flashbang. NAVI had nothing to stop them here. Perfect entries here from G2, put them on the board come their gun round.
I hope it's a bit of a realization for NAVI when this round ends and they hit tab, they look for that utility damage, they see they didn't do a lot. They might need to rethink the pace they imagine G2 are operating at, because that was a slow banana take. And so none of that early util finding damage. Even said it during the round, it was a lot of resources and they did not get a lot of bang for their buck on that banana take.
Final one here for Blade. Again, I mean, NAVI have dug themselves out of worse spots, that's for sure, but...
I mean, look, you like that Wonderful's keeping some residual money to try and bring out that AWP. You feel like it has to be a big focal point of this CT side, because he went from being the guy that saved their life on Dust2 to now 2-11 here on Inferno. But that almost comes with the territory. You wait for the second half. You're a CT player with that AWP. Hasn't had the chance to dom one yet. I might only have, you know, one proper go at it if things don't change soon for NAVI. But is at least making sure he can. This won't be an AWPless CT side for Wonderful. Oof. It's fine, great damage. And if there was one guy you don't want ball down low at the start, it's Bit.
Now confined to back pits for the rest of the round, even off the M4. RV still trying to keep Banana. Damage through the smoke onto Hunter. They're getting very close here, RG2. Nerds just called the bluff. He's walked through the smoke on the walk back from Makazi, maybe counting ammo. As Makazi reloads back in spawn, he has nothing but smoke flash. And again, it could just come down to this single entry. Pop through the CT smoke, G2, they're running in. Makazi, he doesn't call their bluff, he doesn't believe it. G2 just charge. A single flash wins them that entry. And they put the bomb down, they find a 10th. That is quite a pace for G2. That is not what NAVI were expecting.
I mean, you talked about, you know, coming into this game, Makazi's kind of debut in Cologne, his outing in the NAVI jersey, and Inferno was a troublesome note there, but it was one you thought he'd kind of started to figure out, wrap his head around, but he's just looking kind of out of the game right now. Thought maybe that clutch at the end of Dust2 might inspire something here, but looking flustered. Didn't even hear the footsteps of all of G2 coming towards his bomb site. Just no reaction and a failure to launch in that round.
Yeah, it's just really ugly from Makazi. And, you know, when we talk about him in playoffs, he's really reliable. It wasn't just that Cologne outing where he showed up last year. I mean, Budapest was also great for him as an individual. That's his highest rated playoff, with the exception of the trophy they won back in Pro League. He's had some really good games in arenas, has Makazi, but NAVI are not there yet. G2 are slowly but certainly steadily breaking into this game.
But this is what Wonderful's been waiting for. That's what he's telling himself. Finally getting to don an AWP. At 2-11, it's all eyes on him to try and recover. But I think one of the hard things, one of the bitter pills to swallow on Inferno is you can just get left out of the action. You've got to be very assertive on this AWP. Make sure you're putting yourself in position to succeed. He's got no util in this round, so everything kind of revolves around him. And he's going to go hunting for this opening. Orp with a swing and a miss, but he will make up for it. More ready to come around the corner for G2, and Wonderful tries to escape. Only for a second. Went back in, trying to extend that. Trying to extend their advantage, but in this downtime, G2 making a move on the other side of the map. Mattis creeping out. Heavy God holding for any swing out towards mid. Trying to lull them into a false sense of security. You hear that util for the long clear.
Dear.
Go down for IEM. And the bomb was coming in to link up with these A players. But now the round restarts for Hunter. Knows about the pit player. The rest of NAVI are closing in. How much time can IEM buy?
It's a great molly. It's going to give a few seconds. Hunter has to make noise to get through, but he still finds that entry to the back of the pit. We have 2 smokes and a post-bomb potential here for G2. Caught off guard is Nerds. Makazi redeems himself. 2 bottom performers of NAVI to stop the clutch against the top of G2. The captain cut down. Wonderful hits his, and these 2 quiet NAVI players arrive just when they're required. NAVI trying to believe that it is not too late in the day to save this game. An explosive 2v4 down to a winnable round. But win it they do not.
Go faster up here towards this banana fight. Nerds trying to lead the way. The util punishing, but they get their entry. Makazi dealt with after the first. Alexi might need to start calling for rotations. IEM's trying to arrive. This take is coming in. Break on the smoke for IEM. Really wanted to try and pressure, get something from that util. Instead it falls to Alexi, now trapped by the Molotov. IEM lending a helping hand, but this scrap is won out ultimately by the captain on the other side of the server. Hunter 20 kills deep in this game.
Oh, he's got so much space as well. He's just taken back into CT. He's got a great line. He can tell his teammate they're coming from Banana. This is so late for NAVI. You've got to hope they can find this kit with ease in the B bomb site because G2 have all the advantages. Some util to re-execute. But time not on their side, and NAVI playing silent. Hunter already knows they're coming from the banana.
Really have to move quickly, and as you move quickly, you often get sloppy. Hunter in position, ready to cut this down. Him and Heavy God trade the contact, and Hunter is putting G2 on his back.
Four massive frags from Hunter in another messy round, but these are the rounds where G2 are excelling in this series. Scrappy through smokes, flashes in your face. Hunter saw Nico do it yesterday to NAVI. He wants to join him in the playoffs.
Games like this that remind you just how talented Hunter is. Undertook the leadership, beating Nico in that race, knowing that they were both one day looking to become captains. Now performing like he's the star rifler at the heart of G2. Opening in this round. So a 5v4. In a low economy spot for NAVI. This would be a very unlikely round to pick up, but weirdly, that's where NAVI have done their best work. Heard it from the G2 comms earlier. They can't believe some of the rounds that NAVI have won. Is this going to be the latest? Aggression for Alexi. Makazi hoping a bait for him with this spam. The G2 check this corner, because if not, Alexi's going to chew through them. There's the first. Now left to scrap and fight on his own devices. Alexi operating entirely alone. That's big damage. And for G2, everything called into question. Heavy God and Sumpire set their sights on finishing what the rest of the team started this B play.
Shouldn't have to ask for more from Alexi. Surely his team can get him through the rest. One more man back at the site. Heavy God clears him out. He is looking for an ace of his own. With 10 seconds, he's got to stick it. And Wonderful comes through this smoke. Heavy God run down. And so NAVI survive barely by the skin of their teeth. Alexi, 2.5 kills, down Banana. Captains showing up in this map for both squads. And the ticker does go up.
G2 must be having the worst type of deja vu right now. You know, these were the kind of rounds you were giving away on Dust. You held a lead, a very similar position to this one.
That is the exception to the rule. This B site has just been brittle for NAVI. They've lost it numerous times. They've mistimed the Banana retakes. G2 did a lot better at that at the CT side, so I think G2 know they can go back into this B bomb site and they can try it again. Sure, Alexi, a lot of space. G2 don't use their util correctly. They don't clear him out. Something they'll learn from. Give G2 that car position and they will ride it all the way into that B site for a round win. Very tense game now. Money on the line for both teams. This one costs double.
That's how G2 have to think about this. This is the round that could win them this map and keep them in the conversation for the playoffs. Alexi decides he doesn't want fate to decide this. Any type of luck to come into the conversation. He falls back atop Banana. Spot for Wonderful. Over on the long side. And Ema in position in time. They get baited into this crossfire. Heavy God can't control the spray. So the A site withstands. Bit hasn't moved a muscle all round. Sat pretty down in the pit. It's a powerful position. Molotov is on Sumpius. Can be used to try and flush him out. For now, you've got to get past Ema, the one known quantity at this A bomb site. They manage it. Oh. You're ready for him to reappear at a moment's notice. From the library side, that smoke forces a fight out of him. And Bit gets pincered, caught out in the open. Down to this, a 2v2. It's the struggling B-side duo, Alexi and Mikazi. They now got to clean up what NAVI couldn't finish. And even this smoke being here is a real nuisance. It's wasting a lot of time on the clock. Mikazi being loud on his reposition. Sumpius very informed. That molly forces a reaction, forces a swing. Sumpius might have the info, might know where they both are, but has to deliver the goods. 1v1, Alexi can't find this. Sumpius sees it through for G2.
Finally, the clutches fall in G2's favor. It is about time, say them. Map point here on Inferno and the 2-for-1 hanging over the head of NAVI. They have nothing to stop G2 in this second map. Right there for the taking is Inferno. G2, some very difficult rounds levied against them. But this time they survive.
And with that clutch, Sumpius has delivered them one hell of a chance just to close here and now. You said it at the start of that last round. Whoever loses it is broke moving forward. Sumpius' 1v2 is meant to have handed G2 an easy round, but they get chewed up in top Banana. This util will be punishing. Still, they can't break through. What's Heavy God supposed to do here? Locked out by the util, hiding in a smoke alongside the enemy. Tries to walk it in, goes to his demise. Every time you're willing to write NAVI off, they springboard back.
And that has massive ramifications. That's G2 broke as well. They came into that round victors in a clutch. They have nothing left up. And so 3 rounds will go by in the blink of an eye now for G2. You felt like getting 12 was the harder job of 2, but now closing this game will not be much easier.
And G2 have forced.
They had to. Their players on 1400.
This means if they come up short, their next buy is in round 24.
Well, let's finish it with a bang. They're almost expecting to come up short here. Nerds walks through a smoking banana. Trusting his top car one, but they are over that. That Makazi multi-kill with the FAMAS in the previous round. Will it be something that haunts G2 in this series? Jumping at the chance to close this map and take us to Mirage. Oh, careful, Ema. That is ugly.
That's a really, really rough entry to just kind of give away. Will be helped out by an attempted backstab. Some Pius gets eyes on.
They can go B. They've got a man in spawn.
And it feels like that's dawning on G2 now as well. Mattis clearing ground, creating a runway for this bomb to move on. Some Pius looking to join him.
Will the rookie realize Makazi's got to go back?
And so he will. That B site gets reinforced. G2 looking to end this where it all started, back at the A bomb site. Wonderful and Bit waiting to receive. Now Utel to try and kickstart this whole thing. You're really hoping NAVI give this away, give you the entry. Swing from Bit does exactly that. Wonderful has to hold on, and he can't convert the spray. It's down to this. G2 have a clutch for the map to stay alive at this major. Mattis on the reposition. Makazi got the spot. Nade goes in. Nade finishes the job. Makazi with back-to-back massive rounds. NAVI are still in this thing.
More clutches coming in for NAVI to keep them alive in this game. I cannot believe the amount of 1vx's that NAVI have squeezed out in this series. Still struggling, still dangling in the balance, still here on Inferno. Beautiful nade. And that never should have got so close. G2 with pistols after all. But now NAVI get a freebie.
Mow down for Makazi, who's really started to snowball into a big problem. Originally it was NAVI's problem, but now quite the thorn in the side of G2, multiple times thwarting them from securing that third map. Not the hardest hitting guy in the server by a long shot, but when it counts in these final couple of rounds, Makazi's been good for it. Gonna have to survive without him here, but you're only up against this one gun entrusted onto Heavy God. This isn't a round G2 are supposed to make competitive. They're going into a crossfire if they commit to B. They got a smoke on Hunter. That will lock off one of these players. So have to try and find some comfort in this 2v1 onto Ema at the back of the site.
Will he get nades in? Is he just going for this fight? Because G2 are walking in, so no early warning sign for NAVI. That allows Alexi to play. 15 seconds as G2 try contact. And NAVI know it's coming. There should be no contest. Smoke comes down. Ema feels the pressure, but he holds strong. And Heavy God just wants to save this gun. A done deal. Don't die after time, though.
NAVI are really trying to hunt this. Golden opportunity to remove the rifle, and they take it out of the round.
Alexi pushes back down Banana for the top of car. He kills Heavy God after the clock. Nightmare mode from a man who would have had the loss bonus to get an AK anyway, but he wanted more. Now he's on a Tech 9. That's what it's going to cost you.
timeout from G2's side, but you know Blade appreciates it. He's going to use the full length of this to talk through round 24 with his team. Saw has now watched the G2 throw away 2 massive leads. This round decides whether we get overtime or not. Is it another NAVI comeback?
You can feel the shakiness of G2, but you must remind yourself they've not had the best buys in these last few rounds. This will be the best one yet, albeit with Heavy God weakened. G2 must make the most of this. We feel like a very different game in overtime with NAVI with the momentum.
Yeah, I don't know how G2 bounced back from that. I really don't. You know, there's kind of just a limit baked into all of us how many times you can give away big leads. Nerds, all right. It's one hell of a way to get going. Wonderful out of the round. These nades do big damage, but Nerds is still a threat. They've got him pinned in, and they're looking for that trade, so they will get it. 4v4 secured.
Oh, important refrag from Makazi. They see his position, they double nade him. He even blocks his teammate in to look for that fight, guaranteeing the 4v4. Goal for G2 in the short term should be get Heavy God this gun. Get back in Banana, get that rifle in your hands, give yourself the best opportunity to win this one. And Alexi trusts in his young star, leaving him alone on this B-bomb site. Smoke comes down.
Oh, and in the downtime, they're grouping, re-clearing middle now. A decision to make for NAVI. How far do you take this aggression?
I thought they wanted to go for it. They would have found an entirely empty middle. They still can.
It leads that side of the map. Meanwhile, Alexi begins his rotation back.
He can just spam flashes for Makazi. He can give his teammate the best possible chance to hold this site. 2 more available for the captain as G2 go for the full punch.
Alexi sees the barrel. Sampayas gives away the opening. Slow down as G2 grinds to a very jarring halt in top Banana. Rotates start to arrive. NAVI bring the fight to them. Matt is cut down. NAVI get us to overtime.
They do better when they're underdogs. Favored against Falcons 11-6 up yesterday. They crumbled in the pole position. NAVI today pull it back against G2. 12-8 down, 4 rounds in a row off the back of a forced FAMAS, and you are now feeling the burden of that. The single rifle that Makazi had kept NAVI in this game. They don't waste that opportunity. We go to overtime.
Universe does just love finding ways to be poetic. From losing out on a big lead yesterday, like you say, to Nico, the other Kovac. But now digging deep to try and get revenge versus Hunter. And this would be not once, but twice over for NAVI.
And look at how they're getting here, man. Alexi is 22-16. It has been a captain's game for sure. Both squads having their leader stand above the rest. Wonderful silence. A couple of moments in this CT side. Iced out some clutches for G2. But all in all, it's not been the usual stars of NAVI standing tall. Makazi's recovered. There's no doubt about that. Don't let the KD tell you any different. But Wonderful still playing with the confidence that NAVI need him to. 40 seconds, he re-clears middle. That will free Alexi to stand back on B, but G2 are coming in.
Wonderful, finally netting an opening kill on this AWP.
G2 forgot the bomb, it's in ramp. The timing is kaput.
Oh my God, Nerds has to start running. Even then, you're meant to be in the site already for this type of a timing of work. Rejoins the gang for this A hit, but this just throws you through a bit of a loop. Suddenly everything's scrambled, everything feeling awkward. Mattis with a missed timing. The Wonderful AWP is lighting you up. G2 can feel that this one's got away from them. It was written on the walls, a bad omen the moment that bomb is left behind. And even now, as they try and save, NAVI are relentless.
Disastrous rounds for G2. You can feel this game slipping through their fingers. 5 straight for NAVI. Massive mistakes for G2. And no one has it in them them to re-swing. No one had it in them to bail that situation out. Heavy got in apartment, scared of the balcony, doesn't take the swing. Some Pius on the line just walks away with his. And NAVI, it's flowing now. Not even having to require to wipe G2 to win these rounds. Warp is saved, that's something. But NAVI in the lead for the first time since round 3.
Wonderful tried to force the opening fight. His shot from his orb, but he hangs around.
Ollie falls short.
Here to play in tandem with Mikazi. Feels like he can't hang him out to dry. All that util might signal the fallback, and at least they've been able to block. No punish, no chase. Banana ends in a stalemate.
Mikazi's just looking for fights, popping shots through the smoke, ADing in the open. Trusting his aim with that AK-47. G2 don't want to tangle it. Alexi starts his rotation back, bringing more supportive nades. G2, once again, more of the same, out middle. Wonderful, he hit his last time. Full blind now, 40 seconds as he retreats, and G2 come running.
Bit on the line, that's a lot of damage. Hunter dead first. And it all starts to grind to an awkward halt again. They're waiting for Mattis, they're waiting for this player in the apartments. G2 have to find a way to get on the same page very, very quickly, because as they enter this hostile territory, entries will come through. Bomb now planted. 3 versus 3. Best position you've been in a long while. What feels like an eternity to the G2 squad. Nade even connecting. Wonderful, iced out of the round. And Alexi and Mikazi with a question to ask themselves, how much do they value this AK? 2 versus 3, you've won some impossible rounds. In fact, that's where you've looked your best, so they're gonna try and play this one forward. Low time, and that might just get the better of them. Alexi, no reason to give him a fight here. No reason to make this easy. G2 finally stop the bleeding.
Finally, G2 played a win. They put their life on the line. They come through some smokes. They look for trades. They brawl. How they got on the T side in this first place. Heavy got swinging out the apartments. That's what we wanted to see from G2. Think about how they started on their T side, bashing on that B bomb site. Coming through the util, not respecting NAVI. It puts them back on the board.
Let's go, boys.
Let's go. Be confident, guys, okay? Trust, believe. And take risk when it's needed, okay? Let's take risk. Let's play ballsy. Let's go.
Take risk, play ballsy. That's exactly what got G2 here. Good to see them remind themselves before it's too late.
Yeah, it'd be one thing to fall out here on the dreaded final day of play. Be another to do it feeling like you weren't even playing your own brand of Counter-Strike by the end. As a G2 looking to take more risks, because they know without it, you're making a very desperate grasp at victory. No one's ever won by playing safe. Again with the banana util. Again with a fast pace. Nerds. Whoa! Alexi and Mikazi repel this B hit. And right as G2 had looked to inspire themselves, they do take one hell of a risk, running that banana smoke into a crossfire.
Could not tell you whose flash blinded them there, but it felt like a team flash here for G2. Gray screen, white screen, back to black screen. G2 don't see a thing in this round. They just get destroyed. Alexei continues his stellar form. And what a push for Bit. 5v2, and they've got them blocked at this B bomb site. Sending heavy got in. Wait a second. He's walking into him. Hold your breath.
All right. We'll see this. We'll see what's happening here. Heavy God.
Don't say a word.
Great positioning. No one is any the wiser. No way! That's the lineup, but they don't clear the boost. Alexei still drops the bomb. That big flank might not be for anything as Heavy God trapped between a rock and a hard place. Bomb out in the open. Nowhere left to go. NAVI just rounds away from those playoffs.
A very nice try here at the end for G2, but it might be exactly that when all is said and done. The end on Inferno. NAVI 2 rounds from securing top 8, from securing the Lanxess again. And one hell of a recovery in this second map for NAVI, and knocking G2 out.
T-side woes, that was the story for both these squads. NAVI struggled to find their footing. It was a lot of clutch rounds, a lot of very dicey rounds in there. Makazi hoping to make a big play, ends up giving away the 5v4. Trade attempt gets denied. Nerds on a roll. And that's going to send NAVI away. See an AK out there at top banana with Util coming in over the top. You just play for distance. Get away from that half of the map.
What a round from Nerds. Where did that come from? He has been pretty absent across this entire series. But puts himself in the smoke. Makazi walks right by, and it leads to a Nerds triple kill to give G2 a fighting chance. Puts the pressure on NAVI to respond if they want to have all the weaponry come the third round of this OT. G2 look to return to regulation form. An 8-round CT side all that time ago. And NAVI just holding on to what little they have.
Just a great time for Nerds to deliver that. I feel like, you know, this is one of the guys bearing a good chunk of responsibility for that last map getting away from them, so hoping to make up for it, hoping to have his redemption in overtime. Gets things off to a rip-roaring start for G2's CT side with this play here.
Kazi given the trust to make that play. Up Banana uses spawn, come through this smoke, but I wonder if we see something more standard now for NAVI. Had trouble getting into Banana in that initial T side though. So a risk worth taking, but bearing nothing. And NAVI play a little bit more standard now. G2 will not. They charge down. They look for the fight head on for Nerds.
They started triple B. The Sampire AWP is here. They've even fumbled the boost as they went looking for info. Now the A side of the map a little weaker. Sampire on this AWP, hoping to force an opening fight right into Wonderful's AWP.
Wonder if he knew that was an AWP. He only saw an arm there from Wonderful as he came around the corner, so Sampire fancied his odds against a rifle. Did he know what he was signing up for? 5v4 for NAVI. And we won't get ahead of ourselves because we've seen the struggles from this team in this series, in these advantages. And G2 haven't wavered on their A-hold. 3 strong still as they wait for NAVI to approach.
And this is one hell of a read, one hell of a gamble. The only thing you've seen all round was that attention at the B bomb site, and yet still Hunter has put his pieces in the right place. Smokes are down. Chips on the table.
Oh, Heavy
this
God.
is what it's all for. Heavy God makes it into the big pit. Molly raining in, keeps 2 players trapped. It's very, very tight in the site, but they can't get past Hunter. In comes Heavy God to lend a helping hand. And this Crossfire's doing it all. G2. They won't be able to stop Wonderful from getting this bomb down, but they have him trapped. He is in a cage right now. Nerds from the long side, Heavy God in the pit. Wonderful is working with inches. Picks his battle. Thinks the Heavy God's gonna give him something first. Nerds is still closing in from the long side. Gotta pick a fight very carefully here. And with Nerds arriving in the perfect moment, Wonderful clutch denied. G2 have another chance at extending play.
And it went very, very quiet there for Heavy God and for Hunter for a moment, but both of them stand tall in this round. Hunter 2K from middle of nowhere in the site, and Heavy God almost got caught getting into pit by the long player, but that millisecond of difference makes exactly that. His presence is pressure on Wonderful, going searching for those kills. G2 lock in map points. They can take this after all. 4 chances in regulation were not enough. But G2 3B AWP on short.
Throughout this CT half, G2 have just had such a solid idea of how much of the game plan feels open to NAVI, that they've been one step ahead in terms of the rotates. Feels like NAVI are always walking into a stack. The few times they could have avoided it, they kind of took just a little too long for it to matter back in regulation. And so even now, all this fake attention down towards Banana hasn't done enough to pull more resources to that side of the map. In fact, it sent them away. Hunter leaves.
Well, they're going to have to go soon, Navi. They've just thrown double molly. G2 are currently scrambling at this B bomb side, but Nurse has just pushed back through on his own with no flash dry. It is such a ballsy play. It has given so much information to G2 at 30 seconds. Surely they know.
Pius has all the advantage in that head-to-head. Wonderful peeking into the angle. Opening kills come raining in for G2. And a 3v3 for the site control. This is a picture-perfect chance to take this series the distance. Makazi shut down. G2 weather the storm, stay alive, keep fighting. They never give up.
Would have been easy to. 12-8 in the bag. It felt like NAVI showed depth. They stayed in the game. They drag us to overtime and still G2 shut it out. This game requires a third map. Mirage is our decider and the winner be desired for NAVI come this third map.
Yeah, when you came into this series, especially after seeing what he bought us on Dust2, you thought to yourself, well, Wonderful will be game-defining. But this is not what you had in mind. It was a massive fall-off on Inferno. Has to find his form again, or else NAVI could be in jeopardy. It's G2 with a T-side start. And looking to kick this one off with a bang. They're going straight towards this B-bomb site. Maybe some trickery in this yet still, actually, as 2 players start to walk in through lower. So, all right, what have they got prepped here? Kill for Mattis on the entry, sent in with some Pius. Meanwhile, this lurk out through lower getting picked apart. Shut down by NAVI in seconds.
Oh, whatever G2 had planned, forget about it. Hunter doesn't even get to choose where to take that bomb. Was it a B into a mid into a B? We'll never know. G2, they lose on all sides of the map. 1v4 for Hunter. after a great game of Inferno. But surely someone on NAVI can stem the bleeding, shut this down. It will be Makazi locking in a pistol for NAVI. NAVI winning the pistol game across this series. 4 out of the 5. G2 full eco, past the Deagle.
I mean, 4 out of 5 pistols, right, that does kind of somewhat recontextualize just how close this series has been. G2 even in that winning position on map 1. Treating this as just a round to talk things over. Prepare for the task in front of them. Both teams having a real comfort here on Mirage. This is supposed to be the most competitive map of the night. We've had an overtime and a full 24-round game, so what does that mean for Mirage? You know, it might be a long road. So G2 decide they've had enough of hashing it out in the spawn. Now look to make their move.
Not a lot of time in that Deagle, lost to the wind. Makazi farming with 4 beautiful kills. Doesn't need the ace, he wants the round and he wants it cleanly, so sending NAVI in to swing in and do that. Emo no helmet, bit of a problem, but NAVI still do avoid maximum damage. Someone got a bit hungry there.
I mean, just on like a raw mechanical level, that looked insane out of Makazi.
It's a great time. Come a map of Mirage and a CT side for NAVI. He definitely woke up come the end of Inferno as well, right? He was absent in that first half alongside Wonderful. Wonderful never really got back in that game because he certainly did. The T-sides were still troubling here for NAVI today. They have been for most teams at this major. So G2 from the back foot. Can they make a lurch forward? Bit under balcony, no one else offering any assistance in this site. All eyes on middle for NAVI.
NAVI are starting to dismantle this B hold. It was too strong. They leave Ema there alone in spite of it being tagged up, and that really does scream to a bit of a read that this one's looking to finish A. Wonderful gets himself in position out towards CT in time. Even a smoke to block ramp now at the minute mark. G2 try to play right through it. Hunter with a key trade. It's Makazi down in connector, causing big problems for G2. He got Hunter do a lot of damage, but the job far from done, even with that nade kill raining in on Alexi. Not given a lot of time to get comfortable here. That bomb plant, not a guarantee. Ema could swing out right now and stop it, but never plays his timing. A little late to this.
Didn't hear it.
And that could have made all the difference. Suddenly you'd be scrambling to get this bomb down. Instead, G2 get to ease into these post plants.
They're strong.
Hunter and Heavy God. Wait for this retake to begin, only then to shut it down. Ema whiff on that spam, and Heavy God collects. Him and Hunter combining to save G2.
Oh, desperate round for Ema. That spray is just optimistic through the box. He can't even see his opponent, and Makazi's too low, has to go out first. Just fed to the wolves of G2. 2v4 when all is said and done on this A-bomb site. G2 with a massive pickup despite the Makazi multi. They clear up everybody in middle. And still G2 clutch it up on this A site to get in the game early. No waiting around for that. But NAVI find opportunity in the form of an AWP on Wonderful in a very low economy force. 2 M4s. And trying to break in while G2 just enact their game plan. Already looking like they want to be a bit tricky from the pistol onwards.
On all these other maps so far, Blade's given Na'Vi the chance. It's been 2 rifle rounds before he's looked to get hyper involved. Here, what would it be in the decider in a very tight series? He weighs in straight away. They got one chance to show they have what it takes, and when they don't, Blade hops on the mic. G2 going about this mid-control, and no one from Na'Vi within earshot to stop them. There is this hastily assembled boost out towards the window, trying to give Ema an angle, hoping they can switch him online.
Already past this though, G2. That's his underneath. But he could walk back, he could walk right into it. Easy grab for Ema. Could have been Hunter, could have been anyone. But Na'Vi sit back with the 5v4. No util, no kit. This round is no guarantee. There are options for G2, and Na'Vi will not initiate another move. They have great position on the map. They have ramp control, retake on A, spawn side.
Just the idea, though, that you're at the full mercy of this util does add a lot of stress. Bit gonna play early, trying to bait here for the second player ramp side. So for now, it's just saying a bit, how much damage can you do? Wreak some havoc on this cross. Not even firing off from the spawn side of things. Bit swings out. That's one hell of a catch for Mattis. Both players ramp side. The ace up the sleeve of Na'Vi get dealt with in an instant. And Wonderful just slinks on out of there. No place in this round. No part to play. Got an AWP to hold on to, and that's it. G2.
And another disadvantage round 1, man. That's a 3-on-5 when G2 get into the bomb site. Bit kills the first guy crossing after the window boost kill, and G2 have great position. They make use of it. They put that bomb down and force the save. So many advantageous rounds won by Na'Vi, but Bit just couldn't finish his meal on that second kill. Mattis goes on to find a triple. Disastrous rounds here, and the eye test, I'm just going to say because we're 4 rounds in, Ema, his POVs have looked actually dirty in a bad way in these A-holds. He has been shaky on his aim, unable to land shots, pre-aiming wrong positions. Frustrating start to this map for Ema. Can't believe Mattis stays on that angle after 1. So G2, a very clutch round indeed, leaving just Wonderful saved AWP.
Oh, Wonderful's got to be the initiator. To strike hard and fast with that AWP, but a good flash from G2, give up the game. They know that he's probing on this AWP out towards mid, and so Wonderful has to reposition. Gaps just all across the map here with only that AWP to work around. And so for G2, it's just a matter of finding them.
Looking like a good round for a B-pop though. Pressure in the window, Bit ahead of the Molotov. But only this Deagle on the bomb site.
Well, while the eye test of Ema got you nervous, Makazi's had some lights out sequences to get this map going. He's one guy with a Deagle up against the entirety of G2. Talk about overwhelming odds. Dead after 1, Heavy Go gets past him. I'm gonna hang around here, see if anything presents itself, anything to make this interesting. With that bomb going down, if Wonderful can't force a kill soon, this one never begins for Na'Vi. And he is out of there. G2 play it tight. They know what they're up against. They know it's just these pistols and the 1 AWP. And so they think twice before going for any audacious swing. G2 moving into the lead.
And NAVI escort the VIP, get that guy out of there. Bodyguarding the AWP on the save as G2 find clean rounds. 3 alive last time, 4 in this one. Building a bit of a bank. One that Emo can't stop on the exits. G2 making the most out of this opportunity. This is a team with 3 players who have never seen a major playoff. Some Pius, Heavy God, and Mattis would be their first time. Versus a squad of major winners. And a Makazi who at his first major already pulled up into the semi-final in Budapest. Talked a lot about the legacy of these organizations, the multi-appearances in the Lanxess for NAVI across the years, the major trophies to their name. And it has been quite a fall from grace for G2 ever since they lost Nico and Monacy. But this would be one way to put them back on the map right at the end of this season.
It's been a G2 who have struggled in these final stages ahead of the playoffs, falling out of both majors in this exact game since Nico and Monacy left. So trying to buck that trend today.
It's heartbreak for whoever loses.
Doing a good job of kind of keeping you nervous about this mid-control in a fixture of a lot of these rounds, but then haven't always looked to do a hell of a lot with it.
And NAVI are really trying to clear this position, but Nertz is way out of there. He's already back at TV, so how much do NAVI dedicate to middle? They found kills in this position before. Makazi and Connector grouped up with Bit. They go for the clear. This is really well timed for NAVI. If they can empty this position right now at 40 seconds, they'll know that G2 are going for this execute. They'll know it's only Mattis at top middle.
Here, all that util. You get cut off by this smoke that falls, blocking vision from the Connector. Didn't get the info fast enough, and with Ema dead, Matt is cutting down these rotations. NAVI trying to give this one a look in out of sheer desperation, but nothing being found. No joy in this round for NAVI.
I love that pickup of pace from G2. They realize that NAVI are clearing middle. Mattis gets all that information, sees multiple players peeking him, and just calls to go. G2 jump right on that MTA bomb site, and it felt like NAVI hesitated just a little bit too much in trying to hunt Mattis. He was just a distraction. Finally leaves his position, killing Alexi on the way out. By that point, G2 have already won the round. They've got the kill, they've got the site control, they've got smokes down. NAVI, the idea was right.
Somewhere in G2, everyone's looking quite comfortable doing their job. These have been clean finishes to these rounds. Same cannot be said for NAVI. They have 18 kills across the board, and 11 of them are coming from Wonderful.
Mikaze. Hero M4 here.
Pius, chance at an opening, and this would be the guy to find. Makazi clearly feeling some pressure to be involved. Tries to play it forward from short, but ends up out of there once they go for this mid-control util. I mean, mid's just taking up so much of your thought process right now if you're NAVI. You never know what G2 intend to do with this space, but you've lost it in almost every one of these rounds. That's just flying blind. There's so much room open here for G2. This is a world of possibilities. Zima waits. Trying to catch players. Back turn, that 5-7, only good for one. Hunter controlling these rotations from the window side, and another clean round bestowed upon G2. Alexi complicates it with that one, but won't hang around, won't attempt this. He's just looking for a save. And that's what all these kills for NAVI have been, saving players in desperate moments, trying to hold on to their guns. This is a T side that is starting to swell out of control.
G2 just keeping it very simple, very site heavy, lots of executes. In a major we've seen difficulty on T sides, a lot of comebacks in second halves. G2 making the most of this T side of Mirage and just punching NAVI while they're down. These quiet starts from multiple NAVI players starting to feel like more and more of a problem, and Blake can just see these rounds passing them by.
We're talking about the eye test on Makazi looking real good. Mattis is certainly showing a lot of form to open up on this third map. Had that gnarly sequence onto the two ramp players. Now a 180 thrown in there as well to stop a 5-7 multi-kill, which had been a real threat at this major. 5-7 looking straight broken at times. G2 keeping it simple in this round. They know they've done so much conditioning about this mid control. They're going just to roll out the red carpet with an A play. Might work wonders. Got players trapped in the connector. That lets you know your plan has worked. It's just Bit. That's the only question mark right now. That's the only guy you got to deal with. Ema coming around to help him out.
Nice.
Hell of a hold from him out at the spawn.
Need this round.
Wonderful smoke spam connecting. And Heavy God, an impossibility as he's trapped in a corner. Finally, NAVI breaking this streak.
Yeah, they say enough with middle. Full fight on that A site for NAVI. They put all their pieces in the right place. They don't worry about lurkers. They realize G2 are just throwing a full site exec and everybody keeps the pressure on. Spawn side setup, baiting G2. NAVI knocked them out cold. Back on the board after some hiatus. Breaking that 5-round streak, but not breaking G2's money yet. They've got one more buy in them. Wonderful, big pickup. And back out under, looking for his dessert. Hunter walks in, Bit on the edge of the smoke, catches another. NAVI winning fights at the start of this round.
Mattis clashing with Makazi. There's the jump check that got him the info. Makazi rips his head clean off.
Poor Mattis, he saw that AWP boosted in comp, but he knew he had to take on the rifle. That's as Makazi gets the info.
And now following through with this aggression. Makazi on a deep line, one that G2 simply aren't ready for.
Okay, Makazi says, my performance will not be in vain on this map. 14 frags now, he is up the scoreboard and still storming for more. Pushing up the top of middle. Him and Wonderful. The highs and the lows of this series for NAVI. Winning clutches back on Dust2. To going absent on Inferno. G2 full execute again. What's different this time?
The thing that's frustrating for G2 about Makazi showing this form is he's the guy given a bit more freedom, linking up now with these A players. Whoa. Part of this defense, Ema, Bit, all connecting. You will have a bomb plant. You don't have a hell of a lot of safety. Mattis has at least claimed some space out towards the spawn. Space he can't hang around and contend for. You know that NAVI are going to be coming from this position. So plays his life, plays with Hunter. They try and do this play together. Looking for a stairs kill. Makazi doesn't give it up. This guy wants to go to those playoffs. The one NAVI player from the get-go who was performing. And now a tie game, 5-all. Yeah, NAVI getting their second wind just in time to save this CT half.
This time Bit has no support in spawn, but that is an excellent double from him and damage to Mattis. He sets him up so well in that round back from CT. Full execute for G2, mostly pistols, but Bit still shuts him down before it gets problematic. G2 went from winning some more disadvantaged rounds to now NAVI waking up. And that bomb plant allows for another buy here for G2, so they'll take it. First time out for Saw. Even game. Wonderful start solo B. Trying to get a read on with this orb. Look at this push though, all the way up top of middle. Ema getting in, top mid nade. Ema still fighting, sees the flash, dodges it. Makazi tries to save his life with those nades down under, but he'll get fed to the beast. Nerds coming out with a double. Heavy God takes space as well, and G2, suffering from success. They are all over the shop. The bomb can just walk it in. They know this AWP is here. NAVI trying to 3v5, but they don't have the info G2 have. But it might not matter if Wonderful can just stop this bomb.
Heavy God will be able to manipulate these rotations. Will that help you deal with the Wonderful AWP? And this concealed? Yes, it will! Heavy God catches him stepping out wide. And so the one shot that NAVI had, as long a shot as it may have been, dealt with. No worries, no issues here for G2. No chance to stumble in this round. NAVI is still going to give it a look in. They're buying in this final round of the half anyway. And so they feel like they can risk a 2v4. But time getting away from them. This would be the last thing you expect. I just don't think G2 feel like they can take anything for granted in this game. They hang around, they play the bomb. Even dealing with Bit on the exit, so G2, lead retaken right at the tail end of the half.
Yeah, I love the reaction. Reactive CS is what G2 do best, and Heavy God just realizes how much space he has there, jumps out of the B apartments, runs right past that AWPer, because the call is NAVI are pushing middle. A lot of resources, a lot of eyes on top mid. G2 get behind enemy lines. This was really awkward for Ema, but Nerds makes a heroic play through that Molotov, trading damage for a double. It's those moments of brilliance why you love Nerds, but it's still in a sea of very red games. 4 and 10, that impact off the double keeps G2 in the half. Playing with fire here.
And that
G2
just
get
leads to
burned.
G2 overlooking this.
Yeah.
Weren't ready for Ema. That's a really nice setup just to put him in a position to succeed. But so quickly, some Pius and Nerds have replied. Back into a 3-on-3. Aggression on the other end of the map. Adam Makazi, he'll push through the apartments. Nerds is also here, roaming with the bomb. This fight decides a hell of a lot. Nerds with a critical kill. Keeps this round safe again. And now the whole map is one big question mark to NAVI. You saw that bomb moving into the apartments. Justifiably, they're worried about a B play. That's going to leave them out of position as G2 regroup.
NAVI might just have to gamble here. Retaking is going to be difficult with this AWP on Wonderful. Can he just stay on this A site and lock down a line? Sampaio's also feeling like he can't get much done. He's going to try and throw a fake in the middle. Keep eyes here. NAVI aren't buying it. Wonderful though, Scope, they might be able to jump on him from the Palace. 30 seconds as he is uncertain about position, and that's when Heavy God strikes. 3-on-1, Sampaio's is fake, setting G2 up for this round win, and it's all on the captain of NAVI. He swings out, drops the bomb. There's a chance still.
That's a big problem, because Sampaio wants to try and cover this cross, but you've got to retrieve that bomb. Nerds able to get it thanks to this util. And this now becomes a very tall order for Alexi. Doesn't rely on him, it relies on a Sampaio miss. He goes looking for this fight, but Sampaio on the line lets him cross, lets him in. He's playing this a little bit later. They've got post plants now around the bomb. Alexi coming to grips with just how impossible this clutch is. They've got him iced out. There's nowhere left to turn, and they'll finish the job. G2 win out on the half in the deciding map. Winner going to playoffs. NAVI lagging behind.
Again, at first base is a Dren. He's going to hit the ground there. Oh, what a jumping double for Cole! What is going on right now? How does he do this? Cole is save luminosity with the all-play.
G2 seizing the opportunity, storming ahead against NAVI, a 7-round T-side on Mirage when all is said and done, and that is without pistol in this third and final map. G2 grabbing chances to go to the playoffs for the first time for this squad, for many of these players at a major, and it is a NAVI lagging behind with everyone quiet except Makazi.
And you're just left with this horrible feeling. It can't afford to be a one-man show now. You need more support if you're NAVI. You need more of the usual suspects getting online. This side of G2, it's been Heavy God leading the way. Had a number of high-impact kills. Felt like he kept hitting timings on Wonderful, especially in their head-to-heads. And it was a game in which G2 seemed to just have all the space, all the room they ever could have wanted. Now it's NAVI's turn on the T side. Will G2 do them the same privilege of free mid control in as many of these rounds? Or are we going to see a bit more of a fight? Because from the setup right now, it looks like G2 are down to scrap for this mid control. Makazi mid-air.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Round far from over. One cheeky entry. There's a second. Heavy got brushed aside. Some Pius gets dealt with. It's IEM coming in big in this pistol round. Handed off on a Mattis here. 1v4 as it gets going. Looking to make an incision. He creeps up close, right round this corner. Bit lies in wait, and they're pulling his attention the wrong way. They never let Mattis get too comfortable. NAVI give themselves a lifeline on the decider.
Boy, do they. Another pistol for NAVI. That's 5 out of 6 in this series. And still lagging behind, but a massive pickup nonetheless. Makazi with a jump shot, can you believe it? And IEM, after a pretty cold half, comes through with a massive triple kill. Spams that smoke, clears out Sampire, saves that bomb on the pickup there for NAVI. Heavy got so overwhelmed at the balcony, doesn't know where to turn. And so G2 have to rely on a force buy, putting their money where their mouth is. These rounds often come to stacks, and so NAVI try to avoid it. They might be onto something.
Heading into the solo hold, Mattis gets wrecked by the util, and so no worries up against this G2 force.
Just love how Makazi's playing right now. He just runs in, does his job, jump shot with the MAC-10. Makazi's had 2 kills in the half, and they're both mid-air. And sure, it felt weird that he was the only guy performing on that CT side, but if he can keep up his endeavors on the offensive half, NAVI have a lot of firepower to lean back on, something they lacked on Inferno.
Yeah, he's had a very, very rough series, right? Zooming out of this one map, he's the bottom-rated player for NAVI in this matchup. Coming alive on map 3.
Yeah, I think
maybe keeping NAVI in the running long enough for some other faces to find their form.
I saw the red. I think the rating robbed him when you consider that 2v1 at the end of Dust2. But absolutely, for his standards, quiet series, not a quiet Mirage. NAVI have him to thank for being here. How much further can he get them? G2 keep weapons on 4 and give it another go.
Again with the opener, this MAC-10 proving to be real annoying. Stops that push in the apartments. G2 trying to pull off a little trick. There's only Mattis sent to his death. Everyone else, something to rock in this round. But it does put a lot of doubt in the minds of the defense, and they start to lean towards a gamble, pulling out of the A site at the worst possible time. Bit with a free kill out towards ramp. You'd like to tell yourself, there's no worries for NAVI at this point. Free A bomb site, G2 out of position. Ready to take that lead right back.
Simply done here for NAVI, just converting their pistol without any danger, any worry. This round's falling into place. G2 have no reason to be concerned yet. They've got full buy coming. Some Pious Orb if he wants it. And hopefully some answers to NAVI on this T side. Because right now they've only seen Makazi. spam, maybe. Whoop! But that was close. Where does this series lead us? It is impossible to tell.
Oh, well, if NAVI thought they were going to get the same respect out towards middle, they've got the wrong idea. Pius opens here with his AWP, a 5v4 for G2.
Top mid smoke blooms quite late. I feel bad for Wonderful there. Felt like he got a bit robbed. Pius, thankful for it. Two of the bottom performers clash. Boost is nice, but denied. Hunter holds the line. 5v3 for G2. What more could they want?
At this point, you just feel very cushiony, don't you? Like everything's just on rails in this round. Pius gonna make it even more one-sided, and this has gone pretty disastrously for NAVI. 3 players dead in the mid-skirmish. Didn't even really get to fire a shot back. This was about as one-sided as it gets. With it, they might just write off the round entirely. He's still walking through the apartments, but G2 have no reason to make this easy for you. There's no one going to come hunting, no one going to come knocking. They're looking to keep 5 players alive at the end of this one. So save called for NAVI. G2 immediately applying that pressure again. Active stance out towards middle, and they get great results from it. I think it always feels a little bit worrying when you go into your first gun round. You lose those mid-fights so decisively. You don't want to feel like you kind of lose the ability to fight for that part of the map. But that's really been the key to success for G2 here on Mirage. Looking to have control over mid in both halves.
Very slow game for NAVI. Nothing wrong with that. Felt like Inferno at times came too quick. Tried to jump the gun on their advantages. Force executes unnecessarily. Mirage not feeling the same. Ema lurking under. NAVI with the mid control. Pius floats back in CT spawn. Bait and switch on B. NAVI don't look interested.
I mean, this almost feels like G2 kind of feeling like they won mid so hard last time. No way NAVI looked to instantly go back to it. Playing instead for a push out towards the outer edges of the map. Pius with a spot, saw multiple players there in mid, breaks it open. This time gets the better of Wonderful. Caught off guard by the break. Pius again, a key opening. Holding for that stairs swing. He's ready to punish Ema as well. And as Mikazi tries to play his timing, he gets dealt with.
This is a fake on B. Can Bit keep it up? It could sell something. Pius is rotating. Bit trying to force another kill. 20 seconds caught off guard by that swing, and where's the bomb? G2 don't see it. That keeps a player in position. That keeps Heavy God hanging on. 15 seconds. I don't know if Alexi wants it that bad. And if he does, Pius has the cross covered. So save called by Alexi. Walks away with AK. G2 pick it up off the back of their Spanish AWP. Massive double entry here for Pius. Perfect break. After showing top ticket, Wonderful likely holding exactly that. not afraid to force more. This is a Sunpius who had 3 kills at halftime, but he knew that wasn't his half. He knew that no T-side AWPs, no chances to perform. He was waiting for this half of Mirage.
I think the scoreboard's actually quite telling here, right? Coming into this second half, you have wonderful 4 and 6, which doesn't scream to an AWP that's been hyper involved. Alexi 3 and 4. These are multiple players who don't even really feel like they're getting a play in these rounds. It's come down to your riflers having to provide, having to get the job done.
Yeah, just throwing nade sets. Hoping your team can do the rest. IEM lurking under again, but this time it's a quicker hit here for NAVI.
That's waiting. Knows that eventually IEM will look to join up with NAVI on this split. You know, just on nameplate Counter-Strike, what to expect here. You're always going to be looking over your shoulder. Sometimes that fear that IEM puts into the enemy is worth its weight in gold. Nerds gets sandwiched out in the connector, but the rest of G2 playing it forward. Cover wasn't there. Makazi with an important trade. Now trying to plug in the numbers. That spam connects. They'll finish the job. This could be daylight robbery from G2. Twice now, NAVI have tried to get this bomb planted. It's not panned out for anyone who's attempted it thus far, but finally Wonderful gets that bomb put down. So now it's Sunpius on the clock. As he moves in, Bit closes the distance, and he is not ready for this. No idea that anyone could be here. Sunpius might just get backstabbed. Timing goes the way of Bit. NAVI, a step in the right direction. A team effort on that take. And in spite of all the pressure that G2 apply, the stress you're under when that bomb gets dropped twice, they still recover that round.
Yeah, and they even clear out the hard flank as well. G2 are actually buying so much time with those bomb drops for Mattis, who had pushed the B apartments, was going round the world. Bit goes back to check it, takes him out, relieves a lot of pressure in this round. They know exactly where G2 are, and they finally just put it down. As soon as the bomb is stuck, it's a different situation. It's NAVI favored. All the pressure on G2. And NAVI are able to capitalize. After 2 saves, continuing on this T side. Ooh, play timeout ends, saw timeout starts.
I mean, this is such an important round. As Saw wanted his time to speak as well. We are late in the series now, 9-all. And money on the line for both of these squads. Having to play an eco this late into a matchup, that can begin the downward spiral.
Someone's got to do it. Who's it going to be? Nine apiece.
This round right now feels like the most important round of your entire major. This is the one that puts you either on the path to failure or the track to success, and IEM offers that as the opening move.
He never even saw him. He just knows. What would I do? What an incredible check from IEM. Now that B site looks tantalizing indeed. It's going to be a retake setup. It's going to be a save.
It kind of has to be. You almost want to gamble in this spot. Hunter's going to recommit, try and do what he can, but he's one guy up against the entirety of NAVI. He's picked his battle here, decides to stick around. The flashes leave him out in the open, out in no man's land, and Heavy God just wants to survive. That is a brutal round from opener to close. Neither Nerds or Hunter ever had a chance. NAVI into the lead.
And nothing quite like getting a clean round this late in the game. And sure, G2 get to keep themselves above water by saving. That eco gets delayed, but NAVI get one step closer to the major playoffs. Beautiful backside flash as well. It's not just lobbing high flashes over B. Purpose made for that doorway. Hunter has no chance. He cannot fire back. He doesn't see a thing. The round just ends. All EMA in this one. This is where you expect NAVI to show up. I think we've been somewhat doubtful of them in this series because they've shown weakness, they've shown shakiness, they've shown a choke against the Falcons yesterday, a game they couldn't close out from the advantage in that third map. But NAVI are now looking very calm, and this is the experienced squad. This is a four-man major winning roster. Looking very comfortable late in this game, but clash in middle, and G2 love to brawl. Happy to meet them there. Advantage back the other way. NAVI can't celebrate too soon. G2 offer an answer, and they don't stop there.
Oh, wonderful. Can't believe he's escaped there. Nerds lets him get out.
Oh, he should never escape.
That's all that work for the early advantage, now reduced to this, a 3v3. NAVI have plenty of time to work with. They're not feeling the stress right now. They're relying on a read out of Alexi. Might be out of the round in the literal sense. We can still call them out of this spot. Directs them back over towards B. G2 trying to get ahead of this. They'll leave Nerds alone in defensive A.
Under would be so cheeky, you wouldn't, would you? This late in the round, NAVI going all the way. Makazi can even throw an execute if he wants, but NAVI are going to get so much space. This is space that G2 aren't considering. Mattis starts to look over his shoulder. He drops in. Noise made. Bit knows what's up, and he whiffed that shot, but Wonderful follows up. Bomb spotted in middle. NAVI mid-rounding.
It's the guy who saved you on Dust2 and the guy who is trying his hardest on Mirage left in this for NAVI. So Pius makes his way over. Here's a player out in the open. Catches Makazi trying to get that bomb across. And the util won't save you from the glint of that Sun Pius AWP. Given just a sliver out towards the jungle, and boy does he make it count.
Back and forth and back again do we go late in this game. No rest for the Wicked. I cannot believe that Mattis finds that timing. He hears a step from Bit, he takes that kill with him.
You're still just kind of chasing the dragon of breaking money. That's still the edge we're balancing on in this series.
Now it's NAVI who is shaky. They lose this one. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They will be broke. They will have a very difficult decision to make with no loss bonus available. G2, those 3 guns saved kept them in it. And now NAVI, they don't have that luxury on the T side. They don't get that loss bonus. They have to win this round. Their major relies on it.
And so if they go down, they're going to go down together, grouping outside of this A-bomb site. They look to play it as a team. No lurk for EMA. No one sniffing around trying to sell anything on the other side of the map. This is an all-in play, a full commitment, everything on the line. This major run hanging in the balance. Sun Pius with an opening, Heavy God striking alongside him. Answer back for EMA and Wonderful. That all finally dealt with. Wonderful's clawing this one back, dead to the spawn. And so now it's left to EMA. Bomb out in the open, and everything to play for. This is where the pressure is dialed to 11. What's IEM doing? Reroute around to jungle, but there's nothing to be found here. He's got 20 seconds to work with. Bomb in enemy territory. And is this really just the save?
Wow.
NAVI throw in the towel. Something's brought him back.
Changed his mind. Looking for the orb. It's nowhere to be found. It's on default. What happened here? IEM just gets out. Maybe he felt like he had more time than he did. Someone dead-commed it. Either way, confusing close. NAVI gets shattered. They have just this AK-47 up against 11. G2 are almost guaranteed playoff point. Some pious, man. What a couple of shots. What a redemption in this CT side. And Heavy God under the balcony. See why this guy is MVP in all the hard spots. G2 stay alive. They do more than that. They take the lead. They put NAVI on pistols. Was just crediting NAVI's calm and composure. Well, this must be the most stressful last couple of rounds on a T side available. You know this one is hopeless. Try as IEM might. G2 pull that second player in just in the nick of time.
IEM are going to try and lead the way here. It's one rifle, a sea of pistols around him, hoping to set him up. Matt is close on this line. And so this one kill won't come to matter. G2 will have 2 chances to lock in a playoff appearance. They've been in the lead many times over. They've failed to capitalize. You can't be making those same mistakes now. 2 chances for G2 to waltz into those playoffs after a nail-biter of a series versus this NAVI squad.
No, it's just crashed there, but it was a 4v1, so luckily it doesn't come to cost anything here for G2. They hold on. They stop that hero rifle from getting anything. And NAVI on the borderline of nothing. 2 Galils, a Tech 9. This is one stressful series.
I mean, where's your head at a time like this? You know, making an impossible comeback back on Dust2 to start this series. Wonderful with what felt like a series-defining 1v4. But maybe it matters not. Maybe G2 were the truth all along. Because NAVI had their chance. They had that opportunity back on Inferno with the come back into overtime. G2 snatching it away and then just holding their composure no matter the scoreline.
Surely not the all-in here.
I mean, that's been the protocol for NAVI across these last couple of rounds. So going to move away from these 5-man execs. And their last little desperate stab to try and keep this series going.
There's going to be more twists here, though. This is a fake out. Alexi's trying to sell something in this B site. Bomb is behind him for a little bit later, but this chaos allows a window boost. Heavy God shuts it down. That was what NAVI were relying on. They have nothing left.
G2 are right there. All that's left to do is cross that finish line and lock in the playoffs. NAVI dealt a rough hand. Everything freezes. G2 are telling themselves they've done the hard part. They've just got to stick the landing. They've just got to finish this off. Playoffs are right there. Opener out of Makazi. Caught on the cross in. No trade yet. Bit's going to pick it up. It comes down to a retake.
Never
It's not
stop
how
trying.
G2 envisioned it. Not what they wanted, but that bomb goes down. Nothing else past that point. G2 swung their way into the playoffs with tenacity, with resilience, with true grit. And for the first time since Nico and Odyssey left this squad, G2 make their way into a major playoffs.
Zumpire's Heavy got him at his first time in that arena.